I managed to avoid the PAX pox,
Oh, good.
so that's nice. There were
I forgot that was still a thing.
there were close calls, but
Someone vomit on your hand and then you cut your hand off in time.
No, in fact, this month, this year's PAX East,
No, this month's PAX.
I was really impressed with the amount of hand sanitizer available everywhere, and the germ savviness was whatever that word is was at its peak. So we had not only the hand sanitizer out at a lot of booths, but there was the wipes for headphones,
Oh, that's appreciated.
which you don't always see. Sometimes you get one or the other, but you don't realize that you need both.
Well, that reminds me of way back when VR first started getting demoed at E3 and PAX, and there was I think it was PAX Prime, where like 100 people got pink eye.
Oof. Yeah.
Because they just jammed their gross leaking eyeball into the thing.
That's the one where it's you know exactly what that means. There's no in between. There's no alternative.
There's doo-doo bacteria in my eyeball.
You've someone shit in your face. There's no getting around it. There's no version of it where you're like, oh, maybe it comes from baby coughs.
People
as
will
well.
tell you that. People say all sorts of shit.
It's it comes from baby coughs and certain types of fish. Also shit, but don't worry about that. And you're like, oh, I got pink eye, but you got the good one, right?
Yeah.
You didn't get the
No one pooped in my eyeball. Nah, sir.
Oh my god, there's just no mistaking it.
I'm never putting on a fucking VR headset at a goddamn event.
It's they had the wipes. It was nice. That was good. Any dubious moments or questions. I had one night where I was like, ooh, I'm not feeling super great. But, you just fucking Tylenol cold and flu that shit. Mm-hmm. Non-drowsy. You throw it in there and you just... You soldier on through. The extra day is kind of nuts. And I think anyone who's there as a guest is going to, enjoy getting that extra day, because it is true that you're at LineCon, right?
Yes.
You go to PAX, that means you're fucking lining up and you're not getting to see... You're basically it's a ratio system, right? So an indie game is worth ratio 1.
Oh, man.
Right? A AAA is
depending.
So an indie game is worth a ratio 1. That game that's not indie but you happen to care about, that's particular, is ratio 2. Or a multiplayer kind of party game with 4 people. That's a ratio 2 right there. There's that highly anticipated indie or not indie type of game, your Bloodstained and your Indivisibles.
Yeah.
Those are gonna be...
Oh my god, dude! You know what some people call that shit? Triple I.
Triple I is the
Makes
thing.
me want to fucking barf.
So there's triple I games, but triple I games also go hand in hand with smaller games that have infinite demo time. Right? Or games where there's no cutoff point. You can just... The turnover is... The belows, right? The turnover is 20 to half an hour or more. In some cases, an hour.
Cool, this line's only 5 people long.
Yeah. They're there the whole day, right?
Oh.
And then the fucking person with the cutoff point is already standing behind the first person that walks up, So, those are the games where you get 4 or 5 people a day. And then there's your AAAs where you're at your Nintendo booth and you can't do anything else that entire day.
Yeah. I decided to look at a Nintendo.
Yeah. You have 4 slots per day, and you choose your groove.
I remember...
And this PAX is held under the free ratio system, so you can choose how you want to spend those blocks and fit them, but you can only get 1 big booth or 4 indie booths.
I remember
and some in-betweens.
We went to the PAX Prime 2-3 years ago, and we ended up getting those fucking passes that let us get in an hour early. And of the 3 hours split among 3 days, I saw more than twice as much shit in that time than the entirety of the rest of the weekend.
Yeah. In the witching hour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
no lines.
Exactly. And wait a second. Who allowed hunger to join the tournament? Uh-oh. time to give up that middle line spot or wherever you were around the point of the day where you're like, I'm going to collapse if I don't consume food. And you got to go figure that situation out, which you can quite frankly go and get like the stuff down on the floor that's like might as well be served off the floor.
And it's expensive.
Or you can walk up to the food court area where, hey, you just lost a block if you want to eat something decent. Right. Because
so like my advice to you is to just go somewhere else for breakfast and just have one really, really big meal.
Yeah.
That you parcel out in your stomach over the rest of the day. But that gives you a different line later.
Yeah. In fact, I would supplement that with a corner store run with some jerky and drinks in your bag, so that you can just feast on little snackoos as you need to. But for the most part, you're kind of stuck in line. So that fourth day exists to give people that chance to get a couple more games in. And
do you ever try the, hey man, I don't know if you, hey guy in front of the line, I don't know if you know this, but my name's Wooly. I'm from Castle Super Beast. You know, it's really important that I cover this game.
Well, I'll have you know that I had a content creator badge.
Ooh.
And
Does that
allowed
get you anything?
That is, you get in on the first day for the hour before.
The first day only?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And I mean, if you talk to people that are at booths, then you kind of be like, hey, I'd like to record some footage or something. They'll probably be willing to.
Yeah.
But the whole like spirit of PAX is meant to be that it's not like shows that are not for the viewers.
Yeah, well, those shows don't exist anymore.
But so like when you go to the whole thing where they're like, we wanted a show for the game for the players and not for the press, so that the press can come in and like always just get precedent and the people who want to play get like shafted. PAX is meant to not be that, so they'll never do stuff where you get too much power by being an influencer.
I spent my whole life hoping that there would be more shows that the average schmuck like me could get in, and now that I finally have the ability to get credentials, the events that keep those riffraff out no longer exist.
No, the uprising is now, and the time has come so that everyone can get a time to play, and you're not special anymore. No special treatment.
Got to be special right at the end.
Yeah, I mean it's fine ultimately. Like it doesn't affect like that. Like what it mostly affects is just, you know, when you go talk to a dev, right, and you go, hey, like would you have like half an hour sometime later today to just sit down and talk about your game or something? They'd be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
you know, that makes sense because they know that there's possible promotion involved in that. But anyway, so that Thursday is a killer for like work purposes, I suppose. Just the extra time on foot and whatnot, because every day usually ends with like a desperate need for a nap as soon as 6 o'clock rolls around. And this time around, I made it to like 4:30, and I was like, oh fuck no, the life bar is getting shorter and shorter each time.
Well, we're old now.
And
we're in our 30s.
Yes, but it's also an extra day.
Nah,
it really, because you're distributing the same amount of energy over 4 instead of 3 days, and it's taking a lot. It's taking a lot out of you. It was a good show.
It was a good. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad.
I hadn't been in a couple, so I missed a few. Took an opportunity to just do the little walkabout upstairs too, just to see the extra rooms and whatnot. They had their stuff going on as well. But, you know, for a lot of the folks that were like, hey, like, you gonna come up to the casuals room and get some games in and stuff?
No,
I'm like,
what time do I have for that?
It's the same mentality as the gigantic line of people lined up to play Kingdom Hearts 3. And I'm looking at it going, but
you just could do that at home, guys.
And then I realized, wait, no, these are people that haven't bought it yet.
Yeah.
For various reasons, possibly can't afford it, that are like, well, I want to get my time on it now that I can.
That's weird.
Because I can't afford it right otherwise.
You should have just bought it instead of going to PAX.
Well,
you got more value.
Perhaps.
Maybe. Per hour?
I don't know. Depends on whether you like it or not.
Depends how you feel about the darkness.
But the point remains is that's the kind of thing is for some folks too. It's kind of like, yeah, the game's out, but I wouldn't get a chance to touch it otherwise. And that's a different version of it.
There was an old rant that Gersman over Giant Bomb went on about going to E3 and looking at people walking around with fucking t-shirts and shit. And it's like, you're not supposed to be here. you're wasting everyone's time. And then I went to E3 and saw motherfuckers like in this what looked like a 200-300 person line to get into some fucking raffle for Luigi hats. And I'm like, get out.
Right.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. I mean, there's some games that like figured that out nice and quick, because
Like Evil Within.
like there's games where it's like, yeah, like if they have the merch, or like in one case there's a game that had depending on how well you progressed in the demo, you'd get different levels of prize packs, including like just a shirt or shirt plus a baggy shirt.
I remember when I beat
this.
Cleric Beast Invisible, they gave me a shirt, but then they also let me pose with the weapon at the standee,
Right.
which looked ridiculous because they're bigger than me.
Yeah. So just that level alone, where you can get based on your demo time, you can complete it and get like different rewards of pins up to other things, meant that line was extremely busy because it didn't matter what the game was.
They really need to. I don't know. Maybe that they put the merch in so that people go to the line and see the game.
It's a smart idea.
They
though.
should have a merch pit.
Right, separate.
Yeah,
yeah, you're not
in
wrong.
a different building.
Cut into the tabletop section going in the back there, the place that I kind of like.
You guys can
view from
play
a distance.
tabletop anywhere. You can play it in your imagination.
There's the tabletop section. God bless.
You don't really need a real table.
There's a lot of like setups, stalls and whatnot, but like most of it is just people playing, as opposed to like them like promoting the new stuff. And you're kind of like, yeah.
Am I? Maybe
we could move. You could put these tables anywhere.
Maybe I'm like wildly out of touch. Maybe I'm like completely out of touch with the average gamer spirit. But whenever I go to a con that has that kind of like event structure, or not event structure, but you know, like it's like a half trade show.
Yeah.
And I walk by like the 3DS pit
Yeah.
or whatever it is, and it's like, hey, we're all just chilling and playing 3DS games like we totally could have done at home without flying halfway across the country to do.
Yeah.
I am like struck with amazement at I'm befuddled.
I mean, I probably have some answers, because as someone who's done a convention as like a guest, as an attendee, as a cosplayer,
Have you ever worked
as
one for
staff?
Yeah, you have. Okay.
I've done all sides of the coin, so I've seen what cons are like. And trade shows are different, but there is very different types of attendees that go for very different purposes. And some folks are there for example, mainly cosplaying with friends.
That makes sense.
Hanging out with people they haven't seen in a while, and street passing are the top of the priority list. In other cases, it's I'm here for some panels to see some signings of like stuff that I care about or whatever, or do some signings of stuff I care about. And like, yeah, like a local performer or not local, but someone is going to be in the jam space playing music. So it's like the event's happening.
I have become a jaded old businessman.
There's people that are there not for the actual booths of the new games.
In that, like, dude, I remember I was so frustrated at E3 because there were people just walking around having a good time, and I was like, "Get out of my way!"
Sure, yeah.
And I went to PAX, and PAX is for walking around having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, "Fucking move! You're slow. I'm working."
Yeah, that's but the point of PAX is fuck you, workers. We matter too, right? And so
riff-raff out of here.
And the other bit too is there's the like the big old cash family, like rolling in with the strollers and whatnot, just going like, hey, a local Boston event's happening.
Yeah.
Let's take the kids all down to the convention center. We've done the PAX thing every time it's come around. It's a good old day for the kids. So there's that as well.
You know what that
know what? I'll tell you, all of that rolled in together equals a massively profitable, successful event.
I'm sure. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of GameStop horror stories of parents that would treat GameStops and EB Games like babysitting services.
Yes.
Like, just drop your kids off, they'll play the demo.
They'll play the demo forever.
And then the kids disappear, because of course they do.
Yeah.
Where's our kids? I don't know.
Or worse.
Watch your kids, bitch.
Or worse, they don't disappear.
Worse.
Much
worse.
So, yeah. But anyway, that Killer Thursday was a bit rough, but I think the structure of this podcast is going to be a little bit wild and wacky because obviously extra day later because of all the shit going on.
You have a list.
I have a list, right? And I mean, there's the stuff we've done, there's what we've been up to. There's a list of all the things I got hands on with, and I have a big old PAX cast splurge to surf down. Then there's the actual bits of news that popped up this week.
Which there's a couple. There's one big one that I dragged in right last second.
Yeah, and I have some. I want to do a very brief DMC5 ending spoiler cast type thing.
Where do you want to do that in the podcast?
Later.
Later.
But I just want to talk about that a little bit briefly. It's a little bit weird to do it before it's out live on YouTube. But I have some thoughts
time is convoluted
that I might as well commit to tape now because now they're fresh and they won't be fresh later.
Yeah.
For example, when I had big old rants about Danganronpa,
whatever.
You
waited.
That's
forever.
Gone now.
Yeah.
It's gone. I can't.
Fine. Just kill the children.
But yeah, it's mainly just on
That's
a few.
a quote by Wooly Madden.
It's mainly just on a few particular the actual quote was, "It's unfortunate that the kids don't disappear."
Yes.
If you want to really get
so
accurate.
Unfortunate. Yes.
There is a few thoughts on particular things, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the complete spoiler cast.
I dare you
in
to
that
make
way,
that the podcast title.
Who the fuck am I? Who the fuck am I? Have you seen what we've been running with? Is there any? What is there to lose at this point?
You're right.
So, I guess we might as well just go into
all right,
what you got going.
I'll grab it because I don't have that much of excitement. I only have a couple things to talk about. Me and my pal Fuggins bit the bullet and caught up on the MCU. Went and saw Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel.
Yep.
Yeah. It was okay. I enjoyed it fine enough. It was better than I expected, but not by much. It's fine. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I came away with that going, that movie was a total waste of my time, but I'm not worried about this character's inclusion in a larger ongoing story because new writers with more script time will help this. But that's it. So then went home, watched Ant-Man on the Netflix, the second of the Ant people. Paul Rudd is amazing. I love Paul Rudd so much. The casting of Michael Douglas is the best casting of anyone in the MCU as I almost said as Michael Douglas. No, as Hank Pym. That movie's fine.
I still say Robert Downey as fucking Stark is the greatest.
He's so
casting.
old and grumpy.
But he made that. But he was that. That is on the level of fucking.
Maybe I just really like Michael Douglas.
Picard Xavier.
Yeah.
Like it really.
Yeah, no, that's the best one ever.
That's the.
Nothing's
it's
ever
not MCU, but it's still
not yet. Ant-Man's Ant-Man 2 or whatever in the Wasp. That's fun. It's a little whatever. Did you see it?
Mm-hmm.
A+ ending.
Yep.
A++
yes.
ending.
Like
that
Michelle
movie's.
Pfeiffer.
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer is there.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
But yeah, that's that movie's like a 7.5, and it's like a fun time, and it's got like a 10 as an ending.
Fantastic.
It's like it made me so excited.
Mm-hmm. And do you remember the time frames for when the movies came out?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so that's important.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I got a new video card because I hate having money and it make the game go fast. 2080 Ti is assuredly a big ass waste of money.
Did it make the game go fast?
It made the game go big fast.
Did it make it go faster?
Big go faster, yes.
Okay.
Dabbled around in stuff here or there. Playing roguelikes this week, but that's mainly because Gungeon's getting an update. Yes. But the main thing that I did, I guess, was that I beat Sekiro. Like, beat it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I beat New Game Plus.
Mm-hmm.
That game is fantastic. Once. Which is different from every From Software game that has come out in the past, 10 years.
Yeah, so I saw the idea is that the run is now optional, but sometimes the boss is also optional.
It is laughable how much of that game you can skip. So say you beat New Game, right? You got all your prayer beads, right? So you got all the health upgrades. Well, now you don't need to fight a single mini-boss in the game other than the ones that cause fog doors. You don't have to fight any enemies in the game at all, except for the ones that are next to the mini-boss that has the fog door. And
you don't have to fight anyone that doesn't have a cutscene.
Pretty much. So, like, I got most of the way through New Game Plus in, like, 3.5 hours.
There you go.
And there's 2 versions of New Game Plus. One is... fuck you hard mode, which changes mechanics. They make it so that if you don't perfect parry something, you take chip damage.
And the other is
just
ending, right?
No. Well, that's for whatever.
Yeah.
But the other thing is just it's kind of a standard New Game Plus. Enemies are juiced a little bit, but not much.
Okay.
That game on replay suffers incredibly from having one weapon and very little skill variation and no builds. Like, that is a action game.
Statue. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is that once you know how to beat those bosses, fuck them. Because they can get fucked. They're no problem. And, like, going through New Game Plus without the difficulty thing was boring. And, like, I've been arguing with people about the difficulty in this game, like, literally all week. That gameplay sucks if it's not hard. Like, it is tedious and dull if it is not challenging you.
Well, so what a Tenchu game would do would be give you traps, right? To interrupt while the enemy pathways while still being stealth. And then it would also give you an optimal path.
It would also have, like, missions, like proper missions.
It would have missions, but I'm saying, but the missions would have like paths where you could, with excellent reactions and skill and movement and understanding of what the vision cones are, completely stealth take down the entire route and then get in and finish it.
So let me paint a picture.
Which is, again, a European extreme.
Let me paint a picture for you. You know, in Devil May Cry or Metal Gear Rising or any proper action game, you get into an enemy arena and the fucking evil demon gate closes around the arena.
Yeah.
And then you have to kill the monsters.
Yeah.
Now, or you think about a Dark Souls where, like, the layout of the physical space means the enemies' bodies are literally physically blocking you.
Yes.
Imagine if you gave the Chosen Undead in Dark Souls 1, like, Trickster in DT level movement. And you could just double jump and air dash past every enemy the whole way down to Blight Town, and then fight the boss. Like, speedruns of that game are already coming in under 50 minutes, and, like, those are ones with deaths in them.
Because and every boss fight, like, can come down to learning the perfect parry timing on everything they do.
Yeah. If you so you know how you damage bosses and they regenerate posture more slowly? Yeah, if you perfect everything, you can ignore that entirely.
So the line is clear, like in every racing track there's the line.
Yeah, the driving line, yeah.
The line is clear in Sekiro. Sprint this way and parry everything. Yeah. And that is how you optimally
And it's
play.
A bummer because, like, I had a lot of fun playing Dark Souls 1 as a mage, as a cleric, as a big guy, as a fast guy, as a stabby guy, as a whatever. And I could still go back now and try some other bullshit. And same thing with all the other Souls games and Bloodborne. Less Bloodborne, but right. So, and this, like, I beat it, and I'm gonna beat the bosses that I missed because of a different ending. And then I'm going to try the harder mode, but, like, the replay value is just not there.
This is, like, I don't know if you might not have caught it, but, like, on the first stream, the first time I played it, I'm like, that became immediately apparent.
Yeah.
The first thing you realize is, like, you're playing a character. Yeah. There is a story, and there's
cutscenes.
There's things happening.
People talk.
Yeah, and you say things and whatnot, but, like, there's no, like, giant world mystery to dive into, and there's no other people to connect to show off while you try to figure that all out.
Yeah.
It's not that game. This is a much more normal, traditional action game.
It's much more normal, and it's
like
the combat
it's through the lens.
So good.
Yeah, it's through the lens of Souls difficulty and Miyazaki doing what he wants to do.
The removal of like stats gives it a weird feeling. Most stats, because like in Dark Souls, it's like I know what I have to do, but sometimes your stats or your gear or whatever can give you problems that you then have to deal with, right?
Yeah.
Or you vary it up. Here, it's like I know what I have to do, and then you just do it.
Yeah.
And you can never go back to fighting that boss. Again, you can only go back to intentionally limiting yourself or kind of crushing it.
So if they wanted the game to have the things that you're describing, if it was intended to be that design-wise, the Shinobi prosthetics would not be those. They would be replacements for your sword.
Yeah.
Right?
The lack of a different weapon is probably the... But I don't know how you would even change that, because you need to be able to parry everything at a certain speed. You need to be able to... Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, all I'm saying is, the parrying mechanic would be separate from the weapon. It wouldn't be like, oh, the sword's doing it all the time. It'd be like, whatever, you'd have a fucking parry arm. But yeah, you would have this thing where you're like, oh, I want to equip the cannon as a primary style. I want to equip the ninja stars as a primary style.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, you'd go through the game with these builds, but...
Because, like...
That's not what they wanted.
Like, you've seen, the guy in the intro, Genichiro, right? Yeah. You fight him later, right?
Of course.
That's the best boss fight in the game. It's amazing.
Sure.
I can't enjoy it anymore. Because he has a really long combo that if you perfect parry every hit, he goes down. Like straight up.
Huh, okay.
And the other best boss fight in the game, you might have seen it in a trailer. It's a big giant ape. It's a big white ape that's like a Bloodborne monster.
Maybe seen a clip of it, yeah.
That boss fight's amazing.
Okay.
Like that.
There's another...
Like, it's not a fight anymore, because I know the time... Like...
So, one of the trailers shows like a bull thing. And, yeah, so, like, that's one of those ones where there is your perception of what that fight is.
Yeah.
And then the moment you realize what it actually is...
It's a very different fight.
Becomes completely different and easy.
Yeah.
It becomes super easy. But, like, your fears of what that actually is are, like... only going to happen once, you know? So, yeah, it is a game that is front-loaded with, like, the unknown is what makes it difficult. The unknown is this challenge.
And usually in From Software games, the unknown is, like, a fucking suite of, like, asinine systems that make no sense. Right?
And
like,
then
what does this stat do? Nothing?
Yeah.
Why does the stat do nothing?
Right. Why does this item do literally nothing? and then once you've gone through that and you've gotten used to what those are, you start trying to figure out what the best way to apply them would be or whatever.
And Sekiro says, no, here is the perfect solution.
And it doesn't have to be that. It's allowed to be its own type of game. It's allowed to be something that is
kind of bums me out, because like when I played Dark Souls 1, I still now 8 years later have value in being able to play Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
And I went through Dark Souls 2 like 8 times. And I went through 3 like 4 or 5 times. I went through Bloodborne like 4 or 5 times. And my like total time with that was measured in like 6 months to like years.
Yes.
And now once I'm gonna do the extra new game, the fucking other ending. I'm gonna just put Sekiro back on the mental shelf and be like, that was good, and kind of forget about it in a couple months.
It's the place that like any other Tenchu game would go, and you'd go back through it a couple times with the extra difficulties to see what's going on, you know. But
I think that
it's not a world that you go to live in, and I think that's okay. But it is true that it's like if you want to just go down to the dollars to time ratio, you know.
No,
what I mean?
It's not that.
Not dollars to time, but like the point is how much of this game's content is going to take space in your real estate in your brain, and how much time, how long is it going to live there? And like in some cases, it's like this. It's going to be a much shorter.
I do
than
think,
it was for
however,
those other FromSoft games.
The comparison to Tenchu is a little like off, in that Tenchu was a stealth game that occasionally had fighting. This is a fucking action game that occasionally has stealth.
Yeah, that's the core. That is the core.
Like
difference.
This is, I feel like the closest in modern parlance would probably be like Ninja Gaiden, like the old Ninja Gaiden.
Sure.
Like you go through a level and you fight your fucking ass off.
Yeah.
But it's a bummer, and it's a weird situation because it's a great game, but I'm kind of bummed out that there isn't more like there is like the storyline is like overwhelmingly straightforward.
Yeah.
Which is like there is nothing here to discover. This is the deal. How'd that guy come back to life? Because of this.
No, there's other ways.
Like,
there's other ways to make your game more replayable than the established, Soul series ways to do it. Would have been interesting to see any of those, But this is also the kind of game where, when it comes off the shelf, when the Old Hunters comes out.
Yeah.
When they just go, yo, we added a new zone and it's a new it's a new story.
Yeah.
New couple
Until
bosses.
You beat that.
Yeah.
There's room for that.
There's definitely room for that.
No, I mean like there are specific characters that are mentioned like, oh man, that Tomoe was the most badass sword bitch ever. Where is she? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's I feel like there's ample room for just areas to add to that fucking bonfire list.
Yeah.
Where you just go like, all right, yo, DLC, come check out this new area with some new boss fights and someone that fucks with the parry system as you know it.
Yeah.
And makes you go, oh shit, everything's
Sekiro
different.
would actually, hilariously enough, benefit from a Bloody Palace mode, where it removes the environment and it's just like go in there and you fucking fight some dudes.
Just deal with crowds. Deal with hordes.
And with that, I guess I'll move over to DMC. Hey, Bloody Palace came out.
Yeah,
it's fine. I have some nitpicks on that shit.
I heard some people were bummed out about some stuff.
It doesn't have co-op and it doesn't have Virgil. So that's a bummer.
Huh.
For me, the biggest bummer is that you beat the stage and then it is the slow pan of the portal opening up and you have to hit start every time to skip it.
Like it was before.
Yeah, I hate that. I don't care.
Well,
I should kill every enemy and it should or give me an auto skip option. It's tedious.
That's Bloody Palace. I don't know what to tell you.
There's no reason to have it. Just have the fucking thing load in and let me skip right ahead. Okay. Or just, even better, jump me to the next floor instantly.
Minor point, sure.
You
actually no, because you sometimes, well, personally, I sometimes would test shit out and do things.
Well, luckily, no, you haven't touched it then.
No.
Okay, because they have added 2 features that negate the need for that.
Okay.
Which is warm up.
Yeah.
Which is fight any floor you've ever gotten to.
Yeah.
To warm up and practice on.
Right.
And the second is they have added suspend. You can get to floor 80, go, I need to go to work.
And stop the timer.
And hit and fucking leave
Bloody
Palace
run.
And it will save the game.
Oh, that's cool. That's great. That's nice.
Which is great because a full run takes it still takes a while.
It takes a while. It takes a while, and you had to pause it and walk away for the day. Yeah, absolutely.
BP seems way easier than it used to be.
Huh.
I, on my first try with Dante, got more than halfway through.
Okay.
And on my 3rd or 4th try with Nero, I got to stage 40, which is farther than I used to get. On attempt 1 of DMC4 Bloody Palace.
Yeah. So DMC4 Bloody Palace, I feel like first try you hit the upper 20s to 30s.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, blah, blah.
I also had the situation of I hit Goliath at floor 19 the first time, right? He's whatever is Nero. And then I'm like, oh, right. Yeah. I don't remember how to play this at all because I've been going hard on Sekiro for a week.
So that's the other question is how much have you internally absorbed these boss fights?
Yeah. Not as much as the Sekiro ones, ironically enough, because it was over a month ago now.
Yeah, and DMC allows you to make more mistakes.
Yes.
You don't get to style.
Nah.
Huh.
You can style a little in TMC. Sorry, in Sekiro.
No. I mean, no. I'm saying the punishment. The reason why you feel bad in DMC is because you're not styling, not because you're dying.
I got a couple cool hits in.
Okay, so but you beat it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. The way that it works is that it starts at Devil Hunter, and then you go through 30 floors, and then it kicks it up to Son of Sparta, and then it kicks it up to DMD.
Oh, so it gradually goes through each difficulty as you. Okay.
But the first 18 floors are laughable. So you know the part I was just complaining about hitting start?
Yeah.
There's a different problem, which is you are spending, I shit you not, 15 seconds or less on every one of those stages. So you hear the first, like, dun 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 of Subhuman for, like, 8-9 minutes in a row.
Okay, well, talk about months of duh, 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 duh.
Yeah.
Like, that was months on months on months on end.
The music should just keep rolling, and you should not have to hit... there'll be a mod. Somebody make a mod. Pat, baby, complain.
Okay. Also, I mean... How much Bloody Palace did you do in previous entries?
In 4?
Like, how much did you...
In 3, I never touched it.
Okay.
Because I didn't care.
Okay.
And then 4, I tried a couple times. I think the highest I got up was like 70 or 80 with Nero.
Because these are all things that, like, yeah, Bloody Palace.
Yeah, these are annoyances that should have been fixed.
Yeah, but that's what it was, I guess. They could be better without it. I don't disagree. The quality of life there and those little things could have been better. So what I felt like mission, I guess, whatever the one was, 3 Warriors. I felt like that was like your test reverse Bloody Palace, was you're jumping down these holes and getting into the fights with your co-op buddy. The thing I thought about co-op this time around was that if it was it would have to be a separate system, because you could just let someone else do the work for you all the way through, and that should net you a reward. So
that's not there now.
Well,
there's gonna be an SE. Data miners are finding like player slots for like Trish and Lady and shit. It's like
there's a special place though, especially with this and Apex now, where what is there to be said about like expectations based on data mining? You know, where it's like, we never officially told you to expect shit. You might be looking at stuff that we went, oh, that's not going to work, and fucking stopped it. And it would be super cool if it was there. But there's a whole thing
that's
of, like,
rough.
You know, it's a weird new world we're in where, like, you see things and you go, oh, man, that might be that. And then it goes from that might be that to, like, holy fuck, I know it's going to be that. I can't wait for that. And then like the community will get hyped together about that thing that was never announced, so that expectations become a whole other
I don't
monster.
know what to do, because in the DMC5 situation, you put player number to 4 and Virgil comes in and he has a real moveset and he has button mapping.
Oh yeah, so you're
right?
So that means,
and it's like,
so that means it's coming, or it was there and then it wasn't.
Yeah, and it's like, what do you fucking think? You know, and like I've talked.
Didn't Souls bosses have functioning buttons assigned to them?
So that was the craziest discovery ever.
But that's what I'm getting at, right? You're like, is that a sign that we're going to make playable boss?
That was a dev test thing. But
so you have to figure out a way.
Yeah, totally. But the reality is that people expect Virtual to be playable at some point in this game.
I agree.
So, like, you have to work within those expectations.
It just might not be with this update.
And the other thing is, like, depending on what it is, it's like, this is an expectation people may or may not have already had. And then, like, this is one of the things I've argued with people for, and there's some people that, whatever, it's like, people are going to dig into your game. If there's a single scrap of code that says Virtual Bloody Palace in it, someone's going to find it.
Yeah.
So you have to acknowledge that may lead into expectations.
Yeah, and I think there definitely is something to be said. There's a way to go about programming and game development nowadays, and asset creation in particular. There's a way to go about it in a new world where you're like, if it's on the disc, it can and will be found.
I remember.
So you have to actually consider that you're developing in a transparent environment. People can see the whole thing. They will find out how the sausage was made.
Do you remember the RE5 and RE6 demos in which people were able to figure out what every level and boss and weapon was in both of those games from their demos?
No.
Because the file structure was there, the files weren't.
They just told
So like when RE5's demo came out, people were like, there's going to be a boss fight with Wesker and Jill. There's going to be a boss fight against this. There's going to be boss fight in a volcano. There's going to be et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So if the team is doing that for their sake of like production efficiency, right? and that's how they get shit done. And like it just also happens to be really, really easy for data miners to conclude what they can from that stuff. Then, you know, it's like the team, I guess, would hopefully then go forward and reflect that, like, hey, maybe we could do a better job obfuscating this information.
Yeah, maybe.
You know,
but the Virgil one is the funniest because it's not under like enemy count or enemy control. It's under playable character number, and you change like a single value.
But the fact is that like we never know why, like, the game is built up the way it is. You know, there's always things that happen that are just like, yeah, you weren't privy to like a massive discussion about something that needed to be checked or whatever the fuck the case was, right? Also, I'll say this. Personally, as someone who was in that world, what I would do a lot of the time, depending on how early we got onto a project, we would sometimes, if the devs were awesome, we'd literally have a meeting where they'd be like, all right, so our tools team is now designing debug, right? So we've got some standard stuff that we do with every game. That whatever we debugged on old games, we're carrying forward. We're going to carry those tools forward because they already exist.
Sure.
But if there's anything specific you guys want that you think you're going to need for test, let us know.
Oh, that's very
And
useful.
we're going to make these tools for you, right? That's what that department is supposed to do. It's fucking great. It's so cool. So what ends up happening is, like, this game will be like built off of the back of something that was previously established.
Right.
So it'll sometimes have leftover debug options from the previous thing.
Yeah.
That might not be as useful this time around, but nonetheless, because it is the same bones and structure, it's in there, right? So something like mapping to the boss controls on a fucking Souls game.
Yeah.
Like, let's say, imagine that as a legacy thing carried forward, because it's
From
just like,
Armored Core or
because
some
any
shit.
boss we put into this game is going to go through that system. And then in addition to it, the tools team, the QA team asks for some specific testing tools, and then they don't always necessarily get used, right? Something might change, something whatever, but early on in, they requested to get these things in to make testing easier down the line in the future for whatever purpose. And so it ends up being there, but it doesn't necessarily represent future content. It's just a part of test. So there's all kinds of crazy reasons why these things will end up in the final code that someone's data mining, and then the assumption is that it's going to be content later.
So
but it gets wacky.
Let me ask you a question that I
put weight on
certainly
that.
don't have an answer to. Say you're Matt Walker at Capcom, right? And you know Bloody Palace.
I know that Virgil's actually player 4. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about situations like this.
Yeah, but let's take this one as an example. Say you're Matt Walker over at Capcom, right? You know Virgil's not coming out with a BP update, but you know people think he is.
Yeah.
What do you... Because the answer that everybody's gone with is like, you just don't really say anything, and if people are disappointed, then
What do you do?
internally you're like, well, they disappointed themselves, right?
Well, this is where modern day community managing and modern day marketing departments have a brand new puzzle to solve.
I don't even know how to approach it.
There's a brand new task ahead, and you need people that are fucking good at their jobs to figure it out, because I'm not that guy.
I don't know what you do.
I don't know.
You put out a fucking statement. You're just making sure for everybody, the update will not contain version.
Yeah, like, you can't de-hype people. You can't you know what I mean? Like, I think what you see sometimes, like, for example, with Apex, there was like Reddit posts that would come out with you know, whenever when the season started or whatever, and then they'd be like, okay, so here's what we're talking about this time around. Here's our thought process on how we're making things. Here's what we'd like to do going forward. And hopefully saying all of those things in a positive, in that sort of way, will give you an idea about what you're not going to get this time around.
The Apex guys actually can't. There was one guy who went on Reddit who was like, listen, you guys found a bunch of shit. A lot of that shit's really old.
Yeah.
And hasn't been in test for years.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure.
And I feel like that's probably the best way, is just straight up. I feel like the best way would be to be honest and be like, hey guys, I know you found Virgil as a playable character, and you can play as him. That was done in dev to make sure that the boss fight felt like it was a real person. Yada yada yada.
Yeah, right. And then a bunch of people that have no idea, that are just like cold like whatever you want to call it, like outside the
oblivious.
Loop. Oh, outside the loop, but super. Or in their
Wait, Virgil, you can play
what are you talking about? What? Huh?
How
Yeah.
do it?
You know, I'm listening to the official word. The official word says what?
How do?
It's a weird new world, and it's very difficult, and I don't envy that. It's a hard way to go about fucking, like, you gotta be honest, but you can't make the current thing you're doing or the current plan you're on seem like shit.
And
I guess the only real way to win is to always exceed expectations.
Even as like a big asshole consumer who's hyper consumer pro, whatever, fucking right, who's all like give now, right?
Yeah.
I look at this and go, I don't know what to. I don't know what to, because like DMC5 is like bursting disgusting with content. Like it is. There's so much. There are 3 characters. That's crazy. And all I can think of is how pissed I am that I don't have the 4th.
Expectations.
Based on nothing. Based on nothing.
We've talked about this. We've talked about this already a couple times, and like this really weird place of getting hype over. I don't know, man. It's weird.
Is it stupid?
But like, you do have to kind of be like, guys, if you got like in your own head to some degree, you got to take the blame for that.
And the other thing, and this is the bummer, right, is like, let's take Capcom as an example. The other thing is that there's always that element of like, but what if they're full of shit though, like they were with the characters in Cross Tekken?
Yeah, well, Cross Tekken is always the standout example.
But like, I'm using that as a specific but companies lie, people lie.
Yeah.
Like, but game development fucking lies like nothing else.
Dude, I'll tell you this. If you data mine a bunch of shit and there's no clear answer for it that's not really, really embarrassing, and the least embarrassing answer is just to lie about it, then that's what'll happen.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but
we tried for 8 months to get Virgil working properly, and we couldn't do it. No one wants to hear that. No one wants to say that, right? Like, that's not what happened. But like, could you imagine how fucking bad that'd be? It's like, oh yeah,
female player characters are way too difficult and expensive. Yeah.
You know what? That Ubisoft quote only got funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier over time for a multitude of reasons.
It's a tricky one. I don't envy that modern new marketing department and community management side of things, because how do you save people from themselves? Right?
Yeah.
How do you save people from coming at you with things that you never like? What you say as the company is gospel, and that in general used to be the only thing that mattered.
You know what's a fun little data mining scenario? Okay. New patch comes out for Final Fantasy 14. Don't go to that goddamn subreddit. Because within minutes of the patch dropping, people have ripped every model out of the game and gone, here's what the rewards for every single new fight is. Here's what you get for beating this. Here's the final boss of the new story thing. Here's the mount here. And like,
imagine if every single Blu-ray that came out didn't just have the whole, here's the deleted scenes you didn't see that we've selected, but literally had the entire reel.
Yeah.
And the entire audio.
Here's
like,
every take we threw out.
Here's all of it. Here's every uncomfortable fight on the set.
Yeah.
Here's the crafts table.
Yeah.
What if every Blu-ray included the whole production?
Here's every makeup test and creature design we threw in the garbage.
You're missing... Like, all you're missing is, like, the cell phone records of the meetings that were held about what should and shouldn't happen with the actors and so on, and the sequels. But, fuck. You know what I mean? That's a thing that would just, like, video games are in a medium that can't escape that.
It's the craziest thing ever. Cause
everything else is allowed to polish itself as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then just show you a bake of that.
Yeah.
Or, like, audio of that.
And that's where Hollywood magic comes in.
And that's it. And and there's distance because it's not live running in front of you. It's not a breathing system that's alive in front of you where anything can happen.
I think the first time that I saw something wild like this was when data miners for Dark Souls 1 were pulling bosses out from the abyss and were like, who the fuck is King Jared? What character is this? Where were you supposed to fight them? You look at his, he was kind of supposed to be the Four Kings, but not. Why'd he get scrapped?
And now let's be real. Let's go back and look at like anyone who's done extensive lore on Souls games, who has been able to gather facts about locations just based on camera clipping and things like that, and boundary breaking. Like, how much lore exists entirely based on shit that you couldn't possibly know?
Well, there's another aspect to that, which is like go back and retranslate the original Japanese dialogue outside of the official translation for just a couple extra bits.
Because Kirby does
there were localization decisions that were made that were not actually hyper accurate or clear, or fucking pull this boss out of nowhere so that you can figure out what the backstory for this area should have been, but then got taken out. And what is it? It's like, oh my god.
What does this character look like under the helmet?
Yeah.
Right. What if one of these characters? What if you clip through Solaire's helmet and you get a fucking lizard man?
Yeah. Oh man.
Then what? Do we start talking about the secret lizard man origins?
Yes, we do.
Why?
Because that's cool.
But where does that come from?
I don't care. Lizard people are funny.
Like, it's such a weird fucking world we live in. I feel like video games are stuck with that problem forever, and it sucks. Unless everything switches to Stadia. In which case, you never install any files again.
Yeah, there's no files that are local,
You don't get to experience that.
It's all stream of consciousness from the cloud, bro. Infinite power of the cloud. Hey, Crackdown came out, by the way. Remember that?
Yeah.
The last game that would use the infinite power of the cloud?
Yeah.
Just came right and went.
Damn.
Yep.
Terry Crews.
It was okay, I guess. I didn't hear anything good about it at all.
Did Terry Crews do his thing?
Yeah, he was there, I guess.
Okay, well, that's a fucking head scratcher that people will solve that will be smarter than us. Because I don't know what you do.
Or they won't. Or they won't solve it.
Maybe they'll just come out and say, hey, no matter what you... Maybe there's a message that you put up that's nice and front-facing that comes right after you sign the agreement, and it just says, anything that comes from not us is...
not canon.
Or, like, you're a stupid if you get excited for something we didn't tell you about. They find a way... Yeah, they find a way to tell people right out the bat to just like, hey... For all official news and updates, tune into this place. And if it doesn't have the JP mark, then it's extinct.
Well, the biggest problem with that is that oftentimes data mining is an accurate preview of what is to come.
Of course it is. It's the files of the production.
And you go, oh, cool, there's going to be a DLC.
But we're now in a world where it's no longer that because it's also filled with nonsense.
Yeah, well.
And we don't know how to parse between them. And the devs are not going to step inside and go, here's what the nonsense was and here's what our future plans are.
But our marketing plan.
Yeah.
This hopefully will lead to the future that I desire, which is no marketing plan. Just tell me everything. Tell me everything right away.
You would hate it. You would hate it. Yes.
Would I?
You would hate it.
How? Why?
You would hate it because you don't realize, and I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to you.
You're talking to me as somebody who's never worked in the business.
You don't realize how much you enjoy the anticipation of things moving at a pace that has you waiting for more.
I disagree. I go into every possible information topic ever. And while everyone around me is complaining about how the data miners and the leakers have spoiled everything, I'm like, I don't care. I just want to know.
How about this? You don't realize that even though you're impatient for more news, right? And like it feels really great when you get that news. You don't realize the opposite end of where it's not even about like things are cool now and it would be so much better if I had it. Mm-hmm. It would be like if this gets ruined, then I feel worse about the same thing. You don't realize that like you might feel worse about something you wouldn't have felt that
Can you give me a specific example here? Because I'm a little confused as to what you mean.
I mean, like,
like they say that this game's gonna have X feature, and then that feature gets cut, and they just straight up tell you, oh yeah, that feature got cut for time, and then I'm like, oh damn, I would have really liked that feature.
I mean, that's a simple one, right?
Yeah.
Where I will never ever stop thinking about Metal Gear Rising wall running.
Yeah.
And you know, in that case, I mean, that was publicly revealed. That wasn't a, you know, whatever. But like, the detail catchers hang on and stuff, you know, and yeah, and sometimes you see lies in trailers and you go like, what the fuck was that lie? But like, the further it goes in, where you can sometimes see something that's like, yeah, this was actually going to be like something crazy different or something along those lines.
I don't know. As somebody in a position, and you understand this as well, who occasionally gets peeks at that world that we're not supposed to, I can't get enough of it. I want to know absolutely every detail of every single part of this business as soon as it exists.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and then there's the simple part where, like, in something where the narrative matters, right?
Well, that's slightly
you need
different.
a narrative, yeah. There, you need that to unveil itself the way it was intended, because the writer wanted it to come at you in this way that it would have maximum impact. And if things are done out of order, then the impact is lessened, and thus you walk out going, well, that sucked.
It's funny because this conversation is very pertinent for a later discussion that we'll be having.
Probably.
So try and keep it in mind, everyone.
Cool.
Well, what do you do this weekend?
A lot. So
okay.
Let's try to get through it. I went to PAX, and yeah, I think for everybody, like I said, I laid out earlier on in the podcast what I think the structure of this is going to be. But I have like 30 games here that I touched, and I'm going to talk about them in brief.
3 words each.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about them in brief and kind of go through stuff, and then there's more general things and whatever. We'll figure it out. The main thing is some fun stuff happened outside of PAX.
Yeah, so as it often does.
That is worth bringing up. So for one, was really fun was like on the first night, went down to the mixer and was talking to some people, and
okay, so people listening to the audio version can't hear the look on my face, but I'm gonna try and sum it up with a word.
Okay. Well, anyway, so what ended up happening was, you know, just whatever, hangouts, and saw some friends and saw some people and good times, and then eventually at some point ended up like having a chat with some Skybound employees, you know, former Telltale.
Yeah.
And as I reported on Twitter, someone was able to directly confirm that when we were playing Batman, Telltale's Batman, at the time that the first episode was going up was when they were working on one of the later episodes. Like, I think it was a season 2 thing, and the time frame was such that when Matt and I laughed super hard at how Batman basically leaves a situation in mid conversation and just fucking grapples out.
Yeah.
And we just went, oh my god, this game would be amazing if it had that as an option instead of the ellipses every time. And like we had a huge fucking laugh mark out moment. Devs saw it, super went in and had that same situation that occurs way later turn the option into, you know what, fuck it, grapple away mid conversation, and put that in directly based on our shit. So that influence that fucking made my weekend immediately. That blew
it's always
my
wild
fucking mind.
That occasionally you hear just like some stupid shit you did like affected anything at all.
Yeah.
In some cases.
And a lot of people, when I put the tweet out, were kind of going like, "What's the source?" I'm like, the source is the mouths of the people that worked on the video game. Like me standing in front of them and clinking the glass to be like, "Fuck yeah, that was awesome, thank you." It was great.
Yes, I put that in.
So that is really, really fun. I enjoyed that bit. There was a really cool time as well. The next night, me and my boy, the Bestaban, aka Esteban, who works with NoClip and does a lot of their cool filming and whatnot. Yeah. He does some FGC stuff. He does some Tekken stuff. He
See
did
the guy who
Warframe
fucking
thing.
put a shot of the channel in one of the NoClip documentaries?
He knows. Okay. He knows. Yeah. He's fucking out there. And we basically went out to Balance Patch, which is the name of the local FGC meetup hangout. Mm-hmm. So they were having their Friday night meetup, and it was PAX. So like obviously shit's popping and whatnot. So went to go see the Boston FGC. Saw some faces that I haven't seen in a while because some of those guys used to come up to Montreal. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Lucky D, the guy that's running the current scene. And like, man, one thing will always remain the same is just like that difference of 300 million or so in population means that like a dry day for America is banging for Canada.
Let me check something right now. Let me just check something.
What's up?
I just want to see the population of Boston.
Okay.
Right? Because like 300 million, I mean, not everybody in the U.S. is coming out to Boston.
337, I believe. Maybe
no, higher. I said Boston, not Washington, D.C., you stupid fucking internet.
Because it's kind of just...
It's 4.7.
It's big.
So the greater Boston area is about 5 times bigger than Montreal. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In the same general region. So you expect to see at least 5 times as many people there.
Yeah, it's just like, this is pop it off. Every game's got its corner doing things, and you're like, you know, there's that, like, it's the difference between like, oh man, this game is dead this week, means there's 3 guys over there playing it, versus it's not here. Yeah. Right?
That one guy brings in the thing.
Yeah, and we felt the same way when we went to Nova Scotia, and the Montreal scene got to see the Nova Scotia scene, and was like, oof. This is
that a COD?
You know, it was a little bit. Is
that a COD playing Sailor Moon?
It's flopping on the buttons. Shit.
Oh yeah, that's Cody O'Leary there.
Yeah. Well, knows all the frame advantage.
You want a beer?
Yeah. So it's so I always just like, I'm like, man, America, you guys like you always got a scene that even when it's not healthy, it looks healthy as a Canadian. You know, because the numbers are there. But it was really, it was cool to see and get some games in and play and whatnot. So shout outs to Balance Patch. A pleasant evening was spent having drinks and revelry and dinner with one German spy.
Oh, man.
Yes. You
still talk like a tier 2 anime protagonist?
Yes, he certainly does. And we just went out and had a good time, and I got to try the chowder.
You tried some chowder?
I had tried some chowder.
Did you have to order it like that? Did they like
that?
The
New England fucking clam chowder, with the biscuit in it and everything. And
you have some cranberry juice in that?
Put no cranberry juice.
No cranberry juice.
But I got the chowder, and it was good.
Did you even run into anybody who talked like that?
Nah.
That sucks.
And I went, I even had, like, on my last day, I had some extra time before my flight, so I decided to take a nice, slow trip down to the harbor. And I went to go get some dinner, and, like, I didn't hear anything.
So apparently...
I heard no accents.
I've looked it up. Apparently that accent is kind of on its way out.
Because everybody realizes...
I don't know.
But it's great for movies and stereotypes.
Yeah, I know. It's fun.
I literally went down to the harbor, and
if you live in a fucking part of your country, you talk weird. That's great. Makes you unique and funny. I was talking to somebody the other day of, like, in Canada, people in Ontario and Quebec, particularly English speakers, they sound pretty, like, normal Canadian. But people out west in the prairies and people out east in the fucking island, in the Maritimes, they sound like fucking cartoons.
Maybe everybody in Boston secretly agreed to just be like, you know what?
When the thing's in town,
fuck these people for that weekend. When someone comes by and they go, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, hey, hello, how are you?
Need anything? Can I help you? And then the moment PAX is done, they're just like, go take the out of town. All the R's go away, but they come back for PAX because they don't want to fucking give you the
satisfaction.
You know. So Yeah, but no, anyway, that was a really good time with German Spy, and we just, talked shop and did the whole thing. Same for fucking, like, rolling up and catching Brennan and Xavier at the same place at the same time.
Are you going to become a pro wrestler as well, Wooly?
My time is not now. My time has passed.
Oh,
Those
okay.
days are... No.
Oh, okay.
If I would have, it would have been, it would have been a while
20 years ago.
Yeah. But, yeah, man, Xavier Woods and Brennan fucking Williams in the house, and they were there. That was cool. Got to just chill and drink with Xavier afterwards, and, again, revelry and fun Paxisms, occurring. And then, a couple other little bits and pieces and faces that I saw on the actual show floor. So I had 3 games in particular that were my fucking, like...
Need to talk about this shit.
The impact. And I don't know if I should front load or save for later. I'm going to front load them.
Yo, you don't want to backload them?
I'm gonna reverse.
You don't want to load it in the back?
I'm gonna reverse backload them.
Okay.
Right, from 3 to 1.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna go from 4 all the way down.
Okay, that makes no sense, but let's do it.
I don't know.
The time has come for backloading.
All right, we'll just go in order.
Just do it. Just fucking do whatever. Just start talking. We got a lot to do.
The fucking coolest thing I saw all PAX is this game called Phantom Brigade.
All right, so if I type these names into Google right now, will I be able to look at a photo of any of these?
You will be able to see video.
Okay.
As I pull it up for you.
So I'll be real. I can barely see that shit.
Okay. Well, I'm pulling this up so that everyone
now
is
I can see that
there,
shit.
Right? But so there's a game called Phantom Brigade, and what this is this is from the folks who masterminded such things as Crypt of the Necrodancer.
What? Really?
And you're like, Crypt of the Necrodancer, that's a cool, fun, rhythm-based, dungeon crawling game.
Yeah.
What's Phantom Brigade? And Phantom Brigade is a bunch of robots and mecha fighting in cities doing what looks like RTS things.
This looks like the beginning of Gundam.
And
like
then
the very, very beginning of Gundam.
We're literally looking at robots defeating tanks.
In like a suburb.
In a suburb, exactly. And they are doing... You're seeing bits... When you see gameplay... You're seeing bits and pieces of, you're like, am I seeing some Into the Breach? Am I seeing some Front Mission? Am I seeing some Armored Core? So what are we looking at, right? Okay.
Tell me what it is now.
The reason why this game is so fucking sick is because it's cinematic turn-based mechanic tactics.
Okay, is this my Front Mission?
This is something else.
Okay.
You're getting your Front Mission. And you're getting your Into the Breach.
Okay.
You're getting your Armored Core parts and all that shit.
Yeah, that's also Front Mission.
That's fine. You're getting your robots doing what they do.
I need to put an arm on my robot.
Okay. Here's how you fucking play it.
How do you play it?
So one, rotate free camera, whatever.
I need to go wishlist this on Steam right now.
The enemies have a path of what they're going to be doing.
So that is very Into the Breach, yeah.
Okay. And from beginning to the end of the mission, this is what the enemies want to do.
Okay.
Depending on what you do at certain points, obviously they will have to change their minds because they have AI pathing.
But you get like let me try and get this in my head. Like you got a tank, and the tanks are going to be like they want to blow up the school. Or
they're rolling through this area, and they're on this path.
Got it.
To whatever. Right. You get to see up to 5 seconds into the future of where they're going to be and what they're going to do.
Shut up.
This is not a next turn thing. This is literally the animation for 5 seconds of the future will play out. Okay? You see the timeline converge to the point where it ends at that 5 seconds.
Shut up.
You click on you see that, right? Got it. You got the information about the enemy.
Okay.
And what they're going to do. When you click on your unit, what would you expect to happen? You would expect to have a
series
grid
of actions
where you then click to go walk here and then attack that thing.
Fun Fancy Tactics.
That's not what happens.
Okay, what happened?
When you click on your unit, you get a fucking Adobe Premiere timeline at the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
And
now I'm really confused.
And within that 5 seconds of preview that you're aware of,
Yeah.
you determine the actions of your robot by putting the movement timeline on it. You create waypoints so that you walk within that 5 seconds and do all the movement that you need to do. That's
So basically, you see, hey, this tank is going to fire at this building, so that I can set my timeline so that I run in front of the bullet, take the hit,
shield it, and then dash backwards to another cover point.
Okay.
That's just your feet are on the premiere timeline for the next 5 seconds. Say, move forward when this tank looks at this building. You and not that it's mainly not about the buildings though. It's
I know. I just used this example.
But you can do that and like go in front and then block it or whatever, and then move into cover here, right?
Okay.
Great. That's just your feet.
Yeah.
Now pick what your attack is going to be.
Yeah.
Pick when your attack is going to start within this 5 seconds and when it's going to end. So if you choose to start shooting at the tank before you get right in front of it, you're going to have less accurate shots from way back here.
Of course.
So you grab that fucking like attack, that 1.5 seconds of attack, you grab that and drag it forward on the timeline so that you only start shooting when you're point blank with the tank after taking the shot from it. So that is now, and then as you're retreating, keep shooting as well. So that is now your unit's play. And your second unit does the exact same thing or do whatever, and you position, and literally then you click execute, and then
the turn
and
plays.
then time resumes.
Yeah.
It's not the turn plays. It's that time resumes, and then it slows down, and you see the next 5 seconds.
So I'm feeling I'm
fucking cool.
I'm feeling elements of like football on this, like playmaking.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But more than anything, I feel that the timing of this reveal and its spot in the world is. But how does it work, Wooly?
The best I.
But how does it work? I don't understand how it works. Does it erase time? Is it just? Are you just?
The best I can explain.
It's the King Crimson Mech Simulator.
Is that you're not erasing time, you're interrupting it with what you think is perfect information, but it's not perfect information.
Yeah.
Because what happens is sometimes if like you shoot at a part and the treads of that tank go down, then that thing's not moving anymore.
Which will alter the
Or if it hits into your robot's leg, then you're fucking limping. And you can't move as fast as you would. Yeah. So the play you made when you drew your
now kind of break.
You drew your Madden line to say make a route up straight and then hook a left over here is not going to work because midway through this play you start limping. So you can make it halfway to that spot. Now what? Right? So time the interactions change as things go down.
So a Mangekyo Sharingan, this is not.
I mean. It is in the sense that it's showing you...
I can see Naruto's punches, robot.
I can see where the punches are going to go.
Yeah.
Where they're supposed to go.
Yeah.
And I can try to do something about it.
But then the instant you touch it...
It's not what it was.
There's a quote by... I think it's by Dale Dye. It's like, no plan ever survives contact with the enemy.
Yeah, sure.
Right? It's like, oh, man, I did it perfect. And then the instant, like, one errant... variable goes, like the whole thing falls apart like a house of cards.
So I'm reminded a lot of Transistor, and that's one of my favorite games of all time for that purpose as well, besides other things. But Transistor lets you see the line of action, and then you do the thing. This is more than just a line of action, and then like insert the attack line here and whatnot. You're looking at again the fucking Adobe Premiere play bar. Like you're looking at the non-linear editor.
All right.
And then you're moving the things into place. And the level of mastery over how and when you do your actions and then how they play out means that you can just run and gun to finish the mission, but you can also create a super cinematic, stylish mecha battle that looks like a fucking episode of something.
Oh, yeah.
And that's actually literally what the dude said. He's like, yeah, that's my goal. Because at the end of the mission...
If you're playing it perfectly, it looks like a Gundam.
At the end of the mission, you play out the real-time battle.
Of course you do.
And then hopefully
And the real-time battle is what, 3 minutes and 20 seconds?
Whatever the duration, and hopefully you get your dramatic camera cuts to like fucking
All right.
look at shit.
Seems pretty great. This is a robot game about robot stuff. This seems like a fucking nerd game for dorks, which sounds awesome. So now let's talk mass appeal. Okay, which character is your little sister? And how big are her tits?
Well, you seem to be under the impression that this game is Japanese, when it is in fact not.
I'm saying it appeals to people who play Japanese games.
Okay, well, there was someone who trips and falls on a skateboard, and that kid gets saved by the robots, so maybe that's your emoto.
Okay, the skateboard.
Skateboard.
Yeah.
Anyway.
My little sister can't possibly be this skateboard.
Be this constipated? You see that anyway.
No, you mean the hemorrhoid.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So
no, not whatever. Learn it.
Phantom Brigade was the fucking sickest, and I was insanely excited as soon as because I walk by and I see robots in a hangar bay, and it's going through a bunch of parts. So I'm like, all right, you woolly baited me into stopping and looking at the video, right? Because I'm seeing all these parts.
Yeah.
And then the action starts, and then I see what's happening, and I'm like, I still don't. And then I sit down, and I get the spiel, and I'm like, oh fuck, this is your mecha.
Did they like see you walking by and were like, hey, Wooly?
I think they saw me walking by, and they started creating the game.
Oh yeah.
And then as soon as by the time I approached it, like the dev bar went.
Hey, when's this coming out?
So this is coming out a while from now.
that's what I thought.
This is earliest possibility
Later.
2020.
Okay, so later.
So this is not this year.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Very cool.
Spend the time on that. That looks dope, guys.
Yes.
Phantom Brigade.
Second thing that fucking blew me the fuck away.
That's a strong start.
Very, 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 very cool. Second thing that got me jonesing hard was I walked by a game called Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Uh-huh.
And this too is woolly baiting is becoming a clear and obvious term these days.
Make sure to bait the Wooly.
So I don't mind using it when appropriate. But Sayonara Wild Hearts from Annapurna, coming to Switch and coming to, I guess,
I think I saw a video about this.
Is a fucking crazy-ass, trippy, like, res-like journey at times. Other times you're racing. A lot of the time you're just flying through a sick-ass world of flashy neon colors, and characters are simultaneously fighting and doing ballet with each other and spinning into motorcycle gang battles, and the motorcycle gang battles with henshins and transformations and the arcana.
You know what this
and
is?
Powers.
You know what this really is? This is a combination of those motorcycle shots from Akira and the figure skating, sliding down the highway bits from the Persona 5 introduction video.
The Persona 5 intro is playable, is a nice place to start.
Yeah.
Imagine while you're doing all of that exceptionally rad shit keeps happening around you, and the world keeps changing, and the enemies keep changing, and things are just going. Also, the music is great, and everything happening in the stage is directly tied to the music.
Great.
So it's completely rhythmic as well.
That's good.
God damn.
That looks nice.
This thing is fucking cool, and descriptions are not gonna sell you because you have to see it. It's a visual treat. That's Sayonara Wild Hearts. Just visually incredible.
Looks cool. So,
third thing that fucking got me, and this one for completely different purposes, but I was really enjoying my time.
What the fuck?
With Trover Saves the Universe.
Trover looks like a lemon grab style freakazoid.
This is from Squanch Games, formerly known as Squanch Tendo.
Wait a sec, created by Justin Roiland.
You know it.
There's a reason he looks like a fucking lemon grab style freakazoid.
So Squanch Games, aka formerly that other thing.
Yeah, whatever.
Is doing a bunch of weird stuff, and they decided to make one of their first games is Trover Saves the Universe, and it's VR, but it's also not VR.
Oh, good.
And it's Justin Roiland, so it's the Rick and Morty fucking crew doing their thing, and the voices are all there.
Justin Roiland might have the ability to make the most annoying character voice literally ever, and he has been using it well.
This game is just it's a game that is basically
What is it?
It's a funny VR game experience, but it's basically like, imagine if like Rick is describing a game to you like through those the commercials where they improvise. Yeah. Imagine if you're playing one of those.
Okay.
You're playing a game that plays like one of those commercials in Rick and Morty.
About that. What?
Where you don't know what's going on, and they're just saying things, and as they're saying the things, they just start happening, and then as they're happening, like you're like, I guess we're doing it then. I guess it's just going.
So it's like a stream of consciousness, but it's a game.
And it's fucking exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly. It's like if you told me now that they improvised for like a few hours, and then that audio file got sent to a team who decided to create assets around it.
Yeah,
that's kind of what this was. Like the first thing that literally happens is you're staring at your little puppies, your little dogs, and they all look like the Summer. Where are my testicles?
Yeah,
they look like,
Mr. Snuffles or whatever.
And they're in the dog, and they're doing their thing, and then like literally like then just this big weird bird thing grabs them that has no eyes, and then he shoves them in his eye sockets, and it's just like I'm so fucking evil. I got your puppies in my eyes, you stupid. Power, and it just like it's just you're like, what are we doing, right? And it just like he's like fuck you, and then it goes away, and then you're like, and then you're in your house, and then it literally just they're just spouting off bullshit and trying to write a game around the bullshit they're spouting. Mm-hmm. It's hilarious. I laughed super hard. And the game, it's like, who cares what the fucking game is?
Yeah, really.
It's what you're running around in a VR world and you're mashing something. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It's stupid basic VR controls. It doesn't matter. It's fucking funny. I'm looking forward greatly to Trover Saves the Universe. That shit fucking, I was howling for a while.
I love that I was able to tell just by like the shape of this thing's screaming mouth.
Yeah, and
that it was Justin Roiland.
Oh, and the weird like butt mouth thing that happens where they go woo woo, like the weird
I don't like it.
Three face, but it's not the cat version. It's just
I gotta catch up on Rick and Morty. Keep my IQ strong.
Yeah, there's there you go. There's 3W. There's a bunch of W faced characters that make that reaction. So, fun was had. We got into the rest of the shit after that, and there's some fucking. We got some bangers. I spent an entire day with Samurai Shodown.
Yes. So I saw shit coming out from Samurai Shodown this weekend. Best described as "Don't Get Got," the game.
Yep, sure.
And when we sat down, I said, "Wooly, Samurai Shodown looks like a fucking Super Nintendo game from 1994."
Yep.
And you went,
"That's correct."
Yeah.
And then it doesn't look like it.
No.
Because it looks like it. It looks like it in the sense that the play of this game and and what's happening and the damage and everything looks like an old school Samurai Shodown. I'm like, yeah, this is Samurai Shodown 2.
Okay, so we're done playing Endless Waltz for the day, and let's just switch over to
Sam Show 2.
Yeah.
Is what this is.
Don't get counter hit.
Yeah. Obviously, right? Like, just that's the first thing that comes to mind is just how devastating the damage is, which it has always been.
Yeah.
Right? But this has like the added modern things such as like comeback mechanics.
Yeah.
That get worked in, and like other bits that just melt your life depending on what you tried to do and how you failed at it.
So the thing that caused this game to like shift in its perception among the general populace, that those that saw it, was when somebody got a hold of it and discovered that the game has like no throw teching of any kind. Don't get thrown.
And there's a lot of command grabs, but is there?
That's what I saw. It's that you can't tech throws. Period.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh, now I'm disappointed if that's not true.
I'm not sure about that one.
I want to live in a world where no one can tech my throws.
Regular throws in this game, however, are all Karakusas. So
Okay.
a throw in this game is not like get grabbed and damaged. A throw is I grab you and I shove you back. It's called a guard break.
Okay.
Because you just stumble a little bit and you get opened up for something, right?
People are saying that throws can't be teched.
Okay. Well, possibly if you can, I guess you throw dodges out then to avoid.
Yeah,
them.
that's people are saying you dodge throws, you don't tech them.
Okay. Well, what we're doing is.
Oh man, Jubei's back. I like Jubei.
What we're doing is, yeah, Jubei's really cool. You're looking at something that feels a lot like Samurai Shodown 2. You're looking at pretty like it looks good. It looks good. It looks a lot better than King of Fighters 14.
Hell yeah, it does.
And
this looks like a real video game for humans.
And at the panel, the question was asked, like, why is that? You know, and they kind of went, yeah, more time in the oven.
So maybe KOF 15 will look like this.
So I can't say shit about KOF 15. I don't know what the fuck that's going to be. But
I'm just saying.
Everything I expect and hope for with Samurai Shodown for me, which is a lot of it is like, I hope it's a lot like 4 because that's the one I know. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people are like, I like 2. And some people are like,
everyone's
I like 5 special. It's there. It's got that vibe to it. The timing feels right. There's slowdown at certain moments that is like, oh, that's exactly where the slowdown is supposed to be. At the top of...
Well, Earthquake looks nuts.
At the top of Genjuro's DP... the game should slow down.
Yeah.
You know? There is a lot of like wild things that I kind of like the lightning blade, right, is the big one where that's the mechanic of your POW builds up as you get hit, as you do damage and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then you activate it for your rage burst. What happens then is certain moves get better. Mm-hmm. And you can tap it again to do a lightning blade, which is where the screen goes red and you slash across the screen, and if they're doing anything,
if you counter hit with that,
you are losing. It depends on when it was used, but at lowest scaled, you're losing maybe 15 to 20%.
Okay.
At highest unscaled,
like on a pure raw hit,
80.
Nice.
80.
This is a system that works well for Pat and his wake up super lifestyle.
So you better be making the right decisions. This is not about combos.
I'm watching gameplay footage. This is a proper throwback.
This is you try to get the right swing in at the right time. You try to footsie.
This is zoning and counter hits.
You footsie and then you react. You do not try to do anything that like goes on and on and on, because hits are very, very brief and basic. Cancels are like one hit, one button into one move, you know?
So it's funny because this is very, like, as far as fighting games go, this is probably about as accessible as it'll be outside of like Smash in terms of like, yeah, I'm not seeing combos.
No,
right?
This is decision making.
But it's also like extra crazy vicious.
Yeah, and you're gonna get rocked if you fucking make bad decisions.
Yeah,
you know. So
it feels like the more you tone down a game's like mechanical complexity, the meaner you make it.
Can be. There's still like inputs that are SNK inputs in these games. So
sure. You gotta have them. You gotta have them.
In fact, there's a universal super that everyone has, and there's no bar attached to it. It's simply you get 1%.
Okay.
And it is or per match, I should say. And it is like forward, half circle, forward, B and C, or rather C and D.
Yeah, okay, that's a good old Guilty Gear.
And then everyone gets a big super off of that. You can do it anytime, no matter what.
You get one,
and you get one. It does a lot of damage, and those are the yellow background supers. You get one, but the startup is so incredibly slow that you will never confirm it in any way.
So it is used on
styling and mistakes.
Okay.
The lightning blade,
wake up super for life.
The lightning blade I described, you can confirm by doing the throw I previously described, where you toss them back.
But then it scales it.
Then it scales it.
No, you want to hit that raw.
Well, I mean, it depends if you react to what you see. You know, don't get baited. So I have some footage
SNK
I recorded.
Says it's always better to hit it raw.
I recorded some footage with the developers playing some matches against me. I had some good times. We talked about some SNK stuff, and like they're like, "Oh, what characters would you want to see?" Kind of coming back, and I was like, how about that fucking Afro Samurai? I think Jay from Samurai Shodown Sen. How about that? And they're like, oh, yeah. Sen. Right. Yeah, and I was like, how about President Andrew Jackson from 5 and 5 Special, or that came later, or rather 6 rather. Who does the fucking eagle round and then turns it into a burning eagle? Like, I want that shit.
Yeah.
But in any case, right now, so they've announced 13 returning characters and 3 new ones. The first of which was revealed live in front of me.
Looks cool.
Straight to me.
Yes, to you.
Straight to me.
That's your Monster Hunter character.
They revealed.
I'm not even joking. That is straight up your Monster Hunter character.
Darli Dagger, the purple dread-headed giant chainsaw blade wielding jacked female lookalike. What a fucking beast of a pick. So the woolly bait continues. Darli Dagger looks great.
You've had a good run the past week or two.
Good run. Good week for woolly bait. Good week.
Now that means something bad's gonna happen.
Probably. So, don't jinx it. So that's that. I'm gonna put the footage up and I'm gonna do some more in-depth impressions later.
I'm looking at footage here on the screen Willie's got. This looks so old school. I almost can't believe it.
Yeah.
This looks like a Super Nintendo game.
They really want it to feel and look like. They want it to look like woodblock prints. But they want the pacing of the game to be deliberately old school.
The one that gets me is that how Maru does his Shoryuken and he carries Earthquake up in the air, and then Hamaru keeps going. And he keeps going, and then it hits, and they're in the air, and then he slowly falls back down, and then Earthquake's kind of on the ground, and then he and the whole thing is a single hit, and it's 5 seconds.
Dude, the fucking sound clips of the referee might as well be the ones from Samurai Shodown 2 on the SNES. It's they sound identical, if not for the lack of tinniness when he goes fucking, he's a Jinjoni Shobu. It's exactly the same, So that's all there. And look forward to it. I will be doing a more in-depth video with footage of my matches where some fun stuff happened a bit later on Wooly Versus, and I'll go more into depth with.
So now that you've had hands-on with this game, are you excited to see it at EVO?
Yeah, and I'm the concerns of it possibly being a bad game that we just don't know anything about are not there anymore because I've confirmed that it's a good, fun game.
I'm actually this everything to do with the counter system and the way that throws work makes me actually really, really excited to watch this.
Yeah.
A game in which you can get an 80% round reset off of a counter hit is wild.
The truth of the matter is that Samurai Shodown has always been good. It's just been dead for a long time.
It's been deader for longer than it was alive.
So, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 all came out relatively close to each other, and then you just had that fucking gap, and then Sen, and then you had 64. And shout outs to the other 3D one, Warrior's Rage, because hey, Shiki's back. Right? We didn't get much, but we got Shiki out of it. So she stuck around. They realized they had gold on her hands. All right. Anyway, Samurai Shodown's great.
Cool.
Stopped by the with a keen peeled eye. I fucking kept a lookout for other fighting games, and I saw Metal Revolution, the game I took a look at on my channel, which is the Rising Thunder similar kind of robot fighter. And
robot.
These are the ones wearing clothes. Right? And
I didn't actually get a look at it when you played it. Wow, they look way better when they're wearing clothes.
You like robots wearing clothes?
Yeah, I think it's a really classy look.
I mean, I'll tell you one thing. I think it's splitting the difference between how we heard people saying, yeah, Rising Thunder looks fun, but I don't care about the characters because the robots are not my thing or whatever. Yeah. And I got really sad at that because they're people just care more about humans. Then
yes, people tend to care more about humans.
No, but of course people care more about humans, but I really didn't realize how much people didn't care about robots.
The robot types in Rising Thunder were a little, I want to say round. That kind of look.
I dug it.
That
they
kind
look
of
like
Iron
toys.
Giant look.
They look like toys.
People tend to like angles more.
So yeah, I got to play this. The new build, lots of changes with how they're going about things with the characters, some tweaks, some balances and whatnot. It's, there's some stuff that's quite different. I kind of got some matches in with Dev there as well, and there's some stuff that's interesting that I like. I like what's going on. Definitely one thing that was better was like the level of input delay and the feeling of like underwater lagginess was better this time around because of not being online and this being a local environment where you could like properly play the build as intended. And with that, I was like, so this is going to be offline local, and they're like, yes, it's going to have offline local. So I'm like, the number one worry was that this would be an online only thing. But thankfully, they've confirmed that it will have like normal.
That being said, netcode will obviously improve over time.
One would assume and hope and whatnot.
Because Wolves, like it's this thing. I hate to be the dead horse, but like yes, of course, every fighting game needs offline local. But 99% of people are never going to play a fighting game offline local anymore. Right,
a large number, maybe not 99, but yes, a large number,
a large proportion. And we can argue over what that proportion is,
but the majority, it matters way more than what the netcode's doing. I know,
and it's a weird situation because you're right. Of course, you're right. But like, because like you saying that, it's like, oh, thank goodness it's not that online. Made me go, oh. Should I?
Well, because the first build I had didn't like it had it in there and whatnot, but like it was like you had to sign in, and it was very like kept behind are you online and signed in thing where I'm like I kind of just want to start and play. But anyway, the gameplay is still very very basic in terms of like like normals and buttons and whatnot. But I had some fun matches and there's some interesting things there. So I can hope to it's like it's still in the oven. Potentials there, designs are cool.
I think robots wearing pants is a cool future we should embrace.
Sure, I'm all about it. Miyamoto Ren is like the robot with the fucking tilted triad looking outfit. He's got like a little suit on, and I'm like, I'm all about it. I'm like, yeah, like make your guy look like a cool stylish triad robot with fashion, why not? Anyway, so.
I think Warframe should add pants.
You put human clothes on all that shit. Hell yeah. Anyway, so that thing's coming along, and still a ways to go. Still got like I said, some. I think like I would prefer if like the auto combo system wasn't kind of like one of the only ways to really get in there and do damage. I like having pokes and I like having options with how I want to go through my combo routes, but. Beyond that, there's some interesting stuff that we'll see how it shapes up. The options for having games like this and Fantasy Strike and just these, like sort of execution light, decision heavy games is like growing wider and wider every day.
I'm glad.
There you go. I went to play Biomutant. I got.
You got
hands on with Biomutant.
How's the Biomutant?
It's okay.
That's what I thought.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's alright.
It's
not as it could never live up to Biomutant.
Yeah. It was. Like you kind of just ran around and did the beginning thing, and like, look, clearly the whole like evolve and make weird things happen and pop out of you stuff. Like, it's almost like there's another game that came along that has that going even more hardcore right now, but. What's fun about this is like the narration is kind of doing a little bit of a Bastion thing. Not that it's predicting or reacting to your future decisions as much as it is just like constantly present and sort of having fun with you as you go through it. So narration from the moment you press start going forward is in an interesting way.
About the Biomutant.
Yeah. And whatnot, and you choose what kind of weird creature you want to be, and what kind of fur level you want to grow. You want to grow deep fur, or the loose fur, How you want to rep that?
What? Oh, I didn't know you could alter your Biomutant.
And then you pick up your gun and your melee, and you can, like I picked up some charge fucking punch things that like you charge them for a couple seconds, and then you do like a short little bionic arm type thing, and things go flying. And I was like, I like that. I'll use that for a bit. But yeah, it was exactly what it looks like. Combat kind of was just like, okay, sure, this is fine. There was a big boss fight as well that was just just a big monster, and you just wailed on it for a while,
Yeah.
and it would just kind of run in lines, and like okay, so anyway, I didn't see anything that blew me the fuck away about it, but the premise and the initial art were all what most people were excited by.
I think it's like it's kind of trapped because like you're looking at the Steam page, and in the upper right corner of the Steam page is the word Biomutant with like a raccoon freakazoid with a sword,
Raccoon guts,
and like, damn, right? Like it's tough to live up to just that photo of a pitch.
Yeah. It kind of plays a little.
It's German, right?
Might be.
Then you say Biomutant with like a weird German accent.
Biomutant.
Yeah, like oh man.
But what I saw was gameplay wise was a little more generic than I was hoping.
Yeah,
So.
I saw footage of it a while ago, and it was like,
do you need a beverage?
I need many beverages.
You want me to get one? You want to
No,
go get one?
I'll get one.
Okay, you go.
I'll get one.
All right, do your thing. So the next thing I took a look at was Man of Medan. Or Man of Medan. I don't know how to say it.
I'm gonna go with Medan.
Man of Medan. I'm gonna follow your lead. I don't know. Man of Medan is the supermassive game from the Dark Trilogy, if you might recall when they announced what they were doing after Until Dawn. It was about those kids on the boat. Remember the thing with the kids on the boat?
Oh, the kids on the boat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the kids on the boat.
Yeah.
Bob
So
Adams there. So get to the back of the boat.
the whole thing was
That's
basically
all I got.
it was like a quick slice of like a scary part where you're playing as that main girl with the red shirt, and you're walking around in a haunted boat, and there's some motherfucker who's trying to hold you hostage, and scary spooks.
You ever see Ghost Ship?
No,
That movie sucks.
probably.
But it's about a ghost ship.
Probably. So, for what it's
Where's that
worth,
coming from?
the actual trailer.
Oh, it's actually playing music.
Yeah. So, the actual trailer and whatnot, like, so what I could tell from this, I'm very excited because I fucking loved Until Dawn.
Until Dawn was a fucking triumph of that type of game.
Yeah. So what this seems to be is just exactly more of that with different assets.
But with a ghost ship.
different assets.
But then it's not
same
ghosts.
thing. They're zombos.
But then it's not zombos.
I hope so.
Right?
Because what happened
That's
in
the best part of
the bits,
Until
so
Dawn.
the end of the trailer is like all the stuff that I played
Yeah.
right here, and it appears to just be weird water zombos,
Yeah.
but like that's it.
But it's not zombos, actually. It's a ghost.
Yeah. So
Something.
so the twist can save that, but the premise right off the bat is kind of just like, okay, well,
It was all okay, yeah, that's a ghost. I saw a ghost at the end
Ghost
of that trailer.
zombos.
That was a ghost.
what is funny to watch is like so it's got the really you know how like everyone in Until Dawn has the Until Dawn face where they go like,
Yeah. Yeah. The test face. Yeah.
and so like that's happening a whole bunch, and I think it was just like kind of early, so the lip syncs were a bit off for now, but for the most part we are getting more Until Dawn with other kids trying to survive being killed by other things.
I'm glad.
It is delivering.
That's a genre we need more of in video games.
Yeah, it is delivering on the promise of what they brought you last time.
Oh no, don't murder me.
And then the scraping against the walls instead of going to where the light tells you to might net you something nice, like a fucking knife. You know,
Ooh.
like a bat from Until
But
Dawn.
what if having the bat is bad?
Well, in this case, having the knife would good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But what if though?
So, one of the speaking, and then like something that fucking has me forever is Space Channel 5. So when I heard that the VR experience was, I was many people saw because I got
That's weird.
seconds
I
after
find
it
that
happened.
really bizarre.
Seconds after it happened, I played the Space Channel 5 VR game, and someone caught footage of me dancing and doing the moves, and it went on Twitter, and I was like, "What?" Like
That makes me never want to fucking put on a VR headset.
in a public environment,
environment.
don't do it. Don't do it.
Cause like, what if I took off the VR headset and instead of a camera, someone just had their penis out?
Yeah, you can't
You don't know.
you can't control what's happening in the world around you when that headset's on.
Yeah.
And the audio that would like be like the jingling of the pants and the zipper that would clue you off.
Yeah.
You can't hear that either.
No, I have AirPods in. I
So,
can't hear it behind me.
In any case, I retweeted it because
Yeah,
what else?
I know.
What else?
What are you
gonna
do?
do?
You gonna pretend that didn't happen?
Ulala is back, and her swinging report show is doing what it does. And the only difference this time around is that you're standing next to her, and you have to move your body in all the directions to emulate the poses
You
to
have
do
to
the
move your body.
up, down, left, right, shoot, 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 shoot.
Space Channel 5 is awesome because it's a really short game that was a terrible value, but it's so fucking zany and cool that everybody loves it.
And the music is great, and it's a fun time, so we all love it.
Yeah.
I will never, never, never not think about that.
That walk is like I'm watching Ulala do her fucking
her strut. Her strut.
That is Space Channel 5 to me.
And the acapella final boss fight is one of the best, most fun things. I love it so much because you stop all the music, but the music is in our hearts, man.
Oh damn, dude.
Ba-ba-da. Yeah. So anyway, guess what? Moving your body into the positions to do the rhythm moves, way harder than doing it with a fucking button.
Yeah?
Way harder.
Wow.
And the
I am
camera,
shocked.
the cameras were in place, either weren't in the right place, or they didn't like something they were seeing. But some,
or not seeing.
But some of my gestures were not reading,
Uh-huh.
and I was having technical trouble.
That's the biggest problem I have with the VR stuff, which is not the VR stuff, it's actually the motion stuff.
Yeah.
I was never once, when I got PlayStation VR back in my old apartment, I haven't tried it in the new place. And honestly, I don't know where my PlayStation VR is, or even if it's fit to use, because I think it's been sitting in the bottom of a box for like 2 years or whatever, right? I was never able to get it synced up to like my location properly once. Like,
Well, here's the other thing too. We have similar setups where they expect your camera to be way closer to you than where your TV is to you.
yeah.
So, I don't know if you've tried it, but if you ever pull it back out, put a chair in between the two of you or a little stool.
And I have a coffee table now that like can't move. It's too big.
Put the camera on that instead and try it out.
If I got a VR setup at this point, I have my own basement that I can install shit into. I would just get a Vive or whatever like just install that shit.
So
into
the fortunate part is that both the Vive and Oculus, which are rolling out their free, not free, they're they're self-contained units.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that anyway, where it doesn't matter if it's where you're by the TV or not.
Yeah.
But the PSVR still has the old requirements, and the new ones don't have that. So that's something that.
And also, Valve is making their own VR thing.
There you go. Right. So
it's probably going to come integrated with Source Filmmaker for directing purposes.
Yep. There you go. So this game is great on paper. I'm excited on paper
as long as it works
for this, but please make the gestures work. Because I was having problems and whatnot, but I still cleared it and it was fine. I swang by the Mega 64 booth, said what's up to the boys and girls, and Rocco, as cool as ever, they hung in there, and it was really funny. And I was just like, I'm there doing the thing that everyone does with us, where it's just kind of like, hey, how's it going, hey, and the like just that like, oh man, like. These guys are like, we'll never be Mega 64. They're just the best. They've been there forever. And like, for some reason, they just don't have the amount of views and follows that you expect.
Despite being prolific and amazing.
And yeah, so when people were talking about the Telltale influence thing today, this week, based on me telling that story, I'm like, they're that times a million. Because Mega 64 has way more influence and way more direct connections to really good shit from the industry. And people know them inside and they've done so much. And yet somehow just don't have the legions of followers and views that you would expect. And it's kind of insane to me that that's the case. Because goddamn, Mega 64 is the fucking best. Like there's almost a bit of like a thing where I was like, okay, so I want to grab this sweater and some of their merch because their merch is fucking great.
Yes, it is.
And dude was just kind of like, hey, dude, what's it? Just take it. Like, what's up? How you guys doing? You know,
And
like,
and then you're like, yeah,
I'm like, oh my god, he remembers.
influence.
He remembers. You know, but the funny part of
Sounds like somebody hasn't acclimated into their influence role yet.
the funniest part about that, and I got the vibe that this probably happened with everyone else, is when December went down and the final video went out and things were all like shitty. It sounds like one of the things that happened is everyone else that had like just a video game group,
That's right,
just got inundated with a ton of people going like, "Are you guys okay?" And it's like, yeah, why wouldn't we?
Yeah,
be?
why?
Oh, oh God, because you know. And it was just a very funny like, oh shit, like the fear just boiled over to other groups, so that like kind of funny and any I don't know, any other like similar to Zaibatsu style groups had a bunch of like panic about like, oh my god, is anything happening where you're gonna end it too, or is something going wrong? I was like, no, I think it's just best friends.
I think I had what might actually be a more bizarre experience than that. I was running errands the other day, and in a part of town I don't usually go to, and then I ran into a guy I have not seen in 5 years that I used to work with at the grocery store. And he goes, "Oh, hey man, you doing all right?" I went, "Why?" "Oh, I heard about the channel."
Huh.
And I went, the
Wow.
channel that I never spoke to you once about because it was a fledgling side project, and then I never saw you. I was like, yeah, oh, cool, yeah, you're streaming. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. Mm-hmm. That was weird.
Yeah. I think a bunch of
that was really weird.
A bunch of people we know in real life that like are that we've known before any of this stuff are definitely like tangentially aware and up to date on certain things. Not that they'd ever let you know it.
Yeah.
But there's definitely that to some degree. And it's always like, oh shit, hey, cool, that's flattering. That's fun to know that you know. But that whole thing was just really funny because it's like there's no cause for it. There's no logic behind it, but there's just a fear that like other groups might all like is Giant Bomb ending? And it's like, no, nothing happened. It's okay.
No, Giant Bomb ended years ago when Ryan passed away.
Well, that is...
I'm sorry for getting too real just now.
Wow.
I kind of got very sad in my heart.
Wow. I am off the fucking rails trying to figure out how to get back on. Okay. Did you really have to bust out a level 4 super just in the middle of the fucking conversation? That is the oof of the century.
Yeah, it is. I still think Vinny shouldn't have moved out east, but I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do.
Fuck. Okay, well, anyway, Cyber Shadow is the game that Yacht Club is now pushing as the new thing they're going to be publishing. And it was really cool because their booth was pretty busy with everyone checking out Shovel Knight Shodown. And like...
This looks like Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, and I was able to play on the personal Switch over there
just Switch now, huh?
I don't know if it's just Switch, but anyway, the personal Yacht Club Switch was there, and the creator of Cyber Shadow was there, and like I remember there's an article that just came out today. It was almost like this crossover didn't happen or almost didn't happen, but then they went like we wooed him in and we whispered sweet nothings and like little sugars in his honey syrups in his ear or whatever.
What the fuck are you talking
There's
about?
a saying for how you pour fucking...
You drip honey into
honeyed
ears.
Honeydick. They honeydicked him. They honeydicked Cyber Shadow.
They dicked their honey.
They honeydicked the Cyber Shadow.
And then they smeared the... You know what? Whenever I think about putting on a VR headset, that's what I'm actually worried about.
Getting honeydicked?
I'm worried that right before the show started, the employee that was working at it thought it would be funny and just smeared their balls and dick all over every part of the screen and thing, and that's how you get pink eye.
Cyber Shadow.
That's what I'm worried about.
Cyber Shadow was basically, or is, a game that upon first glance you're like, that reminds me of The Messenger because it's a classic Ninja Gaiden style Ninja Nest looking thing. And then you play it and you're like, no, they're not the same. Cyber Shadow is a very cool progress.
It's also a little stridery.
Yes.
Like for the NES.
Yes. Progress and get your power-ups. And it just you know what? In the Shovel Knight way, it's mechanically simple, but it just feels good.
It looks great too.
And a lot of what you're doing is just like precision-based platforming, precision-based attacking, and reacting to enemy patterns that are like tricky sometimes and taking you fucking by surprise. And they're great.
Also, the main character is a robot ninja, and that's cool.
Yes.
I like robot
The
ninja.
sprites, the backgrounds in particular, are gorgeous.
Is Sekiro a cyborg?
No, he's a man with a
A
prosthetic arm.
Yeah, okay. Because it's not machinery. It's not technology. It's machinery. Yeah.
The gears and winds and I mean it's mechanical, but yes. Anyway, so the Cyber Shadow is looking really, really tight, really, really clean, and it looks just in the same way. Like I said, like it's a very similar to Shovel Knight, like beautiful classic capturing of an era, painfully accurate to that era.
There's a really good video on Game Maker's Toolkit by Mark Brown
about how Shovel Knight refusing to cheat.
How Shovel Knight refuses to cheat, but then also cheats.
Yes,
because it is attempting to evoke the memory.
Feeling. Yes, it's about the feeling of the classics.
And it's like, you can't put these many fucking horizontal sprites without the game breaking. Fuck you, Shovel Knight. You lie, right?
And then it's like,
but you don't remember that bullshit.
But we can get that intentional slowdown just to make it feel like, oh, there's too much going on here. You're like, yes, they're masters at that. So yeah, man, I had a lot of fun with that brief demo, and there was no real power ups either in it. It was very simple.
Really?
Yeah, it was just the basic controls. But like, I'm like, cool. There's room for that and for Messenger, which also has some DLC, free DLC coming out. Messenger Picnic Panic was there.
That is not what that is the last thing that I expected.
Exactly. Messenger Picnic Panic, free LC coming out, involving like boss fights of fight a giant octopus.
Free loadable content.
There you go. So the Keita Takahashi Jan was in there. Watam, which we saw teased on stage.
I remember hearing that this is kind of like Nobi Boy.
It's very much like Nobi Boy, in that it's not a game as much as it is a toy.
So it's a bunch of weird bullshit.
Bunch of weird characters. They're running around an area. You can take control of any of them at any time. They all have unique actions, and they all interact with each other in particular ways. And most of them just lay out little shits.
All right.
They can all make little poops.
Yeah, it does sound a lot like Nobi Boy.
You can then control the characters that get pooped out, and the little poops become their own characters. And then you can stack the poops on top of each other. Or not.
Or eat them.
You can eat the poops as well.
You eat the poo.
And then you just kind of play and you interact and stack together. And then as you do in your interactions and your stacking, bigger and more weird worlds and characters show up. And they ask you to do different things.
And then eat the poo-poo.
Eat the poo-poo. The Watam eat the poo-poo.
Watam eat the poo.
Keita Takahashi says eat the poo-poo. It's a toy. It was fun. It's, children will love it.
Every time I hear that, I try not to lose it.
Speaking of losing it, my friend Pedro, not my actual friend Pedro, but the name of the game is My Friend Pedro, which you might remember because it was that Devolver game with the slow motion bullet festival.
Yes, and bananas.
Yeah, so basically you're a crazy person, and I mean you are, but you're a crazy person, and a banana is talking to you.
It says kill,
and it says yeah, exactly.
Oh,
it's the whatchamacallit, the leprechaun on
Ralph's shoulder.
On Ralph's shoulder.
There you go.
This game is really, really crazy with the slow motion bullet psycho festival action, and the twisting and the dodging and whatnot is really fun to do. Slow motion as well is very generous, so it makes it feel really cool. The thing about it is when you're in the middle of all these stylish moments like the trailer shows you, your brain has so much gymnastics to go through because they introduced one button that made the whole thing fucking go haywire, which is hold I want to say RT or RB to lock where you're shooting in with your first gun, and then free stick aim with your second. And just that,
all right, this is
just that alone made my brain go, okay. Like, if I could shoot, like, because dodging and shooting and rolling and kicking and doing all that in one line of shot direction is fine, but reconfiguring where the twosome time is happening, moment to moment, is a lot. And all that stylish shit you're seeing is not as easy as it actually looks.
I see.
So, yeah, this is a game that I think is gonna fucking, it's gonna make you feel really stylish, and it's a Devolver fucking thing. You like, there's a reason why, you know. But it's Gunslinger, the platformer.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
So there you go.
I'm seeing that.
So that was coming out in a couple of months' time. Actually, I want to say it's coming out in the summer. Yeah, June. There you go.
Nice.
Okay, let's move along. After Party is a game where you are literally, it's just like almost like a seems to be just like a fucking point and click, type of game, classic style. You are a bunch of kids, like hipstery, and you're walking around hipster hell.
Oh, I recognize this art style. This is Oxenfree.
Okay.
Yeah, this is probably by the people who did Oxenfree.
It's not exactly hipsters. It's more just kind of like.
No, everything's hipster now.
No. It's millennial party.
You heard me.
It's not.
Yeah.
Not everything is hipster. You're right.
Whatever.
But I put it out there just so that you get the right area of category, and then I'll pare it down and say not actually hipster, just like millennial party themed, and it's millennial party themed hell, and everyone is, as you can see, they're on.
That does seem like hell.
Yeah, and you're walking around actual hell where everyone's got an Instagram account.
Okay.
And
this makes me want to die.
And you walk around and talk, and you play beer pong with demons.
Okay.
The dialogue is witty.
I'm vomiting.
The dialogue is witty.
Is it millennial witty?
And the whole deal is to if you want to get out of hell, you gotta out party Satan.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
I'm throwing up.
It's called After Party.
Cool. Are we millennials?
Us?
Yeah.
Yes. You're in there. Are you one of those people clicking on those articles about how dumb millennials are and feeling good about yourself?
No.
Because you're one of them.
I just feel out of touch and very old all the time.
You should. You feel the way you look. I mean, it's not a burn if it's just true.
I'll remember that justification for later.
Oh boy! All right, so Indivisible, latest backer demo went up, and they had that there. And
come out already! I want to play it.
Yeah, I know. Dude, it's so good. It's so good. Like, I know there's very little to say except it's like played more Indivisible. There was more characters in this world that may or may not be in that final or whatever. And you could go into the Ajna's inner palace. Yeah. Her mental palace.
I have stayed away from almost everything about this game.
It's fucking fun, man.
You know what?
The battle system is so much fun.
You know what the number one thing that I know about this game is? Is Magama going to trade shows and doing infinites on new enemy types?
Sure. Getting used to how to juggle and get your combos going and using what when, and like timing your blocks and parries perfectly is just like, yeah, it's, you know what it is? You know how the thing that you used to hate about Marvel was like how to use assists? Yeah. This is assists the game. And this forces you to get good at assists. So if you have any love in you for like hyper fighters like Marvel and whatnot and the combo juggling potential of assists.
I thought this was an RPG.
Yeah, and also Valkyrie Profile and stuff. Then yes,
use that when you talk to me.
Yes, Valkyrie Profile and also Tales of games and the juggling combo systems.
Yeah, all right.
Those are in there too.
This is working better.
Those are in there too. Those are great. That's great. It's really fun. But from the fighting game people that brought you Skullgirls,
losing me again,
comes the fighting game aspects in which it's really fun to call in your assists and have them juggle and play together. So, and you're using meter and bar and choosing when to use it. And some of them, in a lot of cases, you're just installing. So Indivisible's shaping up real nice.
Can you do a 28 hit combo like
Easily?
No.
Easily. 28 is
Is
nothing.
there a death blow system like in Xenogears?
I don't know about that.
Okay. I know you don't.
I don't know if you can do a Nibelung Valesti, but Indivisible is shaping up real nice. The check-in is I could the wait for Bloodstained was too long, and it was the same line for both, and it's like pick one, and I'm like, well,
I mean, yeah,
I already did.
Yeah.
But
also, even then, like Bloodstain is like you touch it and you're like, yeah, this is what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Right. Like
Cutest Dungeon.
Okay.
Mistover is the name of the game.
All right.
Heavily inspired by Darkest Dungeon, if you can't tell.
Okay. I can't because I've seen nothing so far.
Okay. Well, it's called Mistover, and a bunch of
Explore that mist.
A bunch of cute anime type characters.
Yeah.
In chibi proportion.
That's correct.
But they're lit like Darkest Dungeon characters.
Yeah.
Go through a map.
It's kind of Etrian Odyssey-ish, but not...
That is Etrian Odyssey-ish, exactly. It's not just a straight line like Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
But and battles are also not just a straight line. They're like on a
grid.
On a grid.
Yeah.
But there's Darkest Dungeon interactions happening constantly, and states and hunger.
Horrible things happen to your cute animes.
Exactly, and it's very easy to die.
No, not my cute animes.
And you got to find your way out of the dungeon, and whatever, and it's cute, but it's a dungeon.
Oh man,
make your way out. And this game was when you beat it or you survive or whatever, you take a screenshot over to the desk and show them, and then you get the rewards. And people were lined up at
anime
this
doll
all day.
One of them anime dolls.
People were lined up at this shit all fucking day to try and get that merch.
Oh, I need my anime doll.
But there you go. That's what that would be. Yeah, Cutest Dungeon. If you thought Darkest Dungeon was cool, but you wanted it a little bit more adorbs, and you wanted your paladin to be like a twin tail
that mod's
tsundere.
That's there. You know it's
yeah,
there.
Shindal did his work. It's true. But you know what I mean. I'm saying you can also do it in this other thing. And that's what they're doing.
I feel like that's an entire subgenre, which is existing thing, but what if cute anime?
But what if cute anime? Yeah. But the changes to the format and genre and battle system and whatnot are the ones where I'm like, that strays further away because I actually like the line.
From God's Light?
Yes, because I like the line of Darkest Dungeon, and I like moving in that linear way, and I enjoy that setup way more than I enjoyed the grid.
But also, you enjoy anime more than those other things.
That's not true.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I do enjoy.
Which one of those animes is your little sister?
The new big fat guy from Windjammers 2.
Oh man,
Windjammers 2. Got to touch that for a little bit.
Yeah. Did you jam some wind?
I did. So 2 old characters, 2 new characters. German guy is back and he's got a mustache.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then
was that the motherfucking Olympic Stadium?
I mean, it wasn't, but yes, it was. We were looking at the trailer for Windjammers 2, in which the cyber future Olympic Stadium has a massive explosion going down. The developers of this game are from France, so I don't know why.
Why are they making fun of us?
There's some people on their team that are from Montreal, though, so that would explain it. Maybe the people drawing this.
That is fucking.
We just saw the Olympic Stadium in the trailer.
That fucking piece of shit.
Anyway. Yeah, so this trailer doesn't show off gameplay, it just shows you anime stuff happening.
Yeah, anime.
But actual Windjammers 2 gameplay, it looks a lot like Windjammers.
Yeah.
Except the sprites are hand-drawn and not pixelated, but like smooth in that way.
That's good.
Kind of looks like the Streets of Rage 4 stuff.
Okay.
Very similar to, And new mechanics are very interesting. There's like fucking some crazy ass like super jumps, and there's some crazy ass whatchamacallit. There's super jumps. There's a deflect where it's like the fastest way to send it back would be to hold the button down and like before it arrives and before you don't even catch it, you just slap it back right away, but you can't move while you're charging that button. So you have to commit to the place you're standing, believing that it's gonna come there. Yeah. It's a dangerous thing to do, but the rewards are high. And then while you do all this, you build meter.
Wow.
And meter has supers, and you can do the supers now, but you can do it by just spending that meter right away. So it doesn't always have to be done with a tap up, because usually you tap it into the air and go right on,
right,
supersonic shoot, and now you can just grab and do it. So This game has a few quality of life additions and like one system change, and those things are going to almost ensure it as an esport.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just depends on how many people are willing to put their tracksuits on, and put their neon shades on, and like show up in formation and play it. But Windjammers 2 is doing its thing. Of course, it was right next to Streets of Rage 4 because they were at the same booth.
That's correct.
Because,
Yeah.
same fucking publisher and whatnot. And Streets of Rage 4, I got to sit down, actually. I played a co-op with a gentleman from Famitsu, and we both went through.
Oh, yeah.
And this thing is cool, man. As a not Streets of Rage guy, because I didn't have the Segas.
I'm not a Streets of Rage guy either, I'll be honest.
Hey, what the fuck you talking about? You never shut up about Go Straight.
Yeah. You don't need to even like Streets of Rage.
The amount that you talk about it makes me think that you are a huge Streets of Rage mark.
No, I'm a fan of the ability to make a good song out of the Genesis sound chip.
Okay, well, Axel and Blaze were in this, and the first thing that you notice when you start playing the Streets of Rage 4 demo is that when the characters walk out, they are super duper zoomed in on the sprites to show you how nice they are up close.
Sprite's really nice.
Then it zooms out.
Now you play the game.
Yeah. Streets of Rage mechanics are there. Things that you would expect are there. And designs are all rad. And again, I'm not someone who's like has the level of like Liam's faithfulness to the franchise, so I couldn't break it down on like that level. But I can say that what was in there with the juggle possibilities and a couple of combo string interrupters made things really, really fun. You can grab dudes and throw them back to your boy so that he can juggle. You can do Blaze has her instant air like attack into dive kick, which bounces off the ground, which sets up for juggles, which you can then do a super or an air super. You know what I mean? Like, you have enough control in there to do fun juggling, and that's a huge part of why I would like complexity in beat 'em ups, because Sengoku 3 gave me a level of juggling fun that I never had before, and this is giving you some of that freedom. Neon Double Dragon Neon also did similar things. Whew, I need some water. I've been sorry. I've been going, and you're kind of dying, and I apologize for that.
My dumb cat Elmo yelled in my face all night.
But I need to get some water because we're doing it.
Yeah, get some water, man.
I was at PAX. I played a lot of video games at PAX.
Hey, you need to hydrate.
The people need to know about the video games at PAX.
You need to water the woolly.
All right.
Am I just?
Yep. You're talking into a microphone.
I'm a little sleepy. Sekiro doesn't need an easy mode. Quit being a bunch of babies. Just stop it. Just stop it. You guys want to talk about stuff that you're like worried about? I'm worried that every surface I touch in the world, somebody smeared their genitals on it. Like, when I wasn't looking, like before I came in here, what if Wooly took his dick out and just smeared his balls on every part of this orange chair to as a prank? And then one day, at the end of the podcast, we're like at Castle Super Beast podcast, whatever. Like Eli's in town or some shit, and he comes to fill in, and he goes to sit in the orange chair, right? And then oh man, you're whatever. I'll sit in the fold out chair, and it was like, no, Eli, you can't sit in the orange chair. And Eli's like, why? He's like, trust me, you don't want to sit in it. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew it. That's why it felt gross to sit in, because it's like I'm sitting on like a fabric made entirely out of human testicles. I knew it. I knew all along. Boy, I'm not in a good mindset to stall for time. Wooly didn't just get water, he also went to the bathroom. That motherfucker. I don't like to use consumable items in games. I've realized lately that this might be becoming a problem. It's yesterday I was playing Shovel Knight, and I couldn't force myself to use any of the sub-weapons despite the readily available magic. Because what if I need it later? But then on every screen you get like 50 MP back. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And I thought about it real hard in the shower, and I stared at the wall. And I was like, I gotta use the items. But then I was like, what game should I use items? And then I was like, what about pillars? I was like, I can't use items there. You can turn items into money. It's great to have money in an RPG like that. And I was like, oh, man. I don't know what I'm going to do. I was playing Resident Evil, couldn't use a single shotgun shell, and the whole end of the lab was stupid. What if I need it? What if I need it later? What if I need it later? Right? What do you do? What do you do if you need it later? Then you won't have it. It's better to not use it and then have it later and not need it than to use it now when you don't need it and then need it later and not have it. You know? How many showers a day do you guys take? I feel like 2 is the right amount. I feel like you take 1 shower and it's like you get all the grit off. Get all the grit off the shower, you know? Like just really scrub it. Just really, you know, become like a human being or whatever. But then later, when you're not quite as gross, you take a second shower and that shower is just like, yeah, being in the shower is good. Yeah, nothing bad ever happened to nobody in the shower. I mean, okay, people have been murdered in the shower, and also people fallen down and died in the shower, and also people have like been horribly ill in the shower. And okay, so a lot of bad things have happened to people in showers. But I'm just saying, like, shower's like a peaceful place. It's like, oh man, water's warm and stuff, and that's pretty cool. And like, if you shit your pants in the shower, you're not like wearing your pants and you just pretend it didn't happen. You just pretend it didn't happen. Just like going to the bathroom in general. Because it's disgusting. You know what else is disgusting? Moisture. I was talking about this yesterday. Hey, Wooly, you left me alone too long, so I got all real weird in here. Oh, he's leaving again. Okay. I was talking to people yesterday about this. About, like, what a good idea would be to, like, just remove all moisture from your body. Because the like, sweat and, like, essential oils and shit is, like, disgusting.
You would dry into a husk like Dark Souls body.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Awesome.
There's a character...
That feels clean.
There's a character from... Dr. Horrible.
Yeah.
He's a sidekick villain. His name is Moist.
Yeah.
He has the power to make things moist.
That sounds like the worst thing that's ever existed. Because, like, I was looking it up, and apparently you can inject a bunch of poison in your hands to kill your sweat glands. To not have sweaty hands anymore.
I mean,
And I was like, man, what if you could do that for every single part of your body?
And the listeners...
And then you would never sweat again.
And the podcast listeners will look up to Wooly and shout... Save us.
And then
and I will look down and whisper.
And then
no.
What if we made everyone else get that and we could eliminate sweat from the world? Like the concept of sweat. And everything would be dry.
All right. So
now you get to stall, motherfucker, because I have to pee.
By all means, go ahead.
You know why?
Why?
You know why I have to pee? I have to get this disgusting liquid out of my body and be dry inside.
Speaking of disgusting liquid, one of the games I played is Rad from Double Fine and Bandai. It's the game with the evolving... like super retro look where the kid with the bat and then you got your powers and you're surviving the post-apocalypse in a 3D action roguelike. Rad, R-A-D. I got some hands on it real quick and yeah, I mean, so initially I'm like, yeah, the art style is not super my joint, or at the very least, like, I don't know, like something about it was like, it wasn't super duper like clicking, you know, with me. But I do enjoy the aspect of it where there's random mutation that you can't control what the fuck your kid's gonna grow into. So you get these all weird freakazoid powers, and you can get an arm that becomes a boomerang, or Like you can just start like secreting gas or laying eggs that do toxic things, and weird stuff can happen to you. Like the powers you mutate are not always like actually rad powers, and that, you know, they're not actually powers that make you feel cool. Sometimes they're like, oh god, I'm a horrible, debilitating, weird creature, but they'll help me kill the enemy, so I guess I'll use those. Also, when you walk around, you have okami feet that plant grass and grow life around you, and that's a cool thing. So, you know, ultimately I was like, those aspects are pretty cool. Cooler than I thought. Initially, like, was like, yeah, I think, you know, I'm like, but then I touched it, and I was like, okay, no, I had more fun with that. And that's a roguelike, so of course, each time you do a new run, you learn how to, or you do your progress. You can kind of like save a little bit of it sometimes and take a better shot at it, because you can die pretty easy when things kill you. So that's rad.
Now I'm bleeding, and it's like,
From the places that you just used?
nah,
Because that's bad.
I got a nosebleed, but like,
Woof.
and all I can think of right now is that it's disgusting that my body is creating a liquid, but then it's happiness that some of my body has less liquid now. This is what happens when you leave me alone with a microphone.
Okay. Quick look was had for Gravity Heroes. This is a game. It's an indie. It looks a bit like other shooters where you kind of...
Oh, do you want me to close the door?
I mean, the chat seems to really be concerned
They
about
seem
the door.
upset.
Yeah. And that's what happens when you have a visual. But you do you. I could easily just tilt it so that the camera is no longer including the door.
Don't do that. That's
And
crazy.
just like that, no one will ever know. In fact, you don't even have to close the door anymore.
It's too late. I'm closing it.
They don't know. They'll never know because it's gone from the visual. So anyway, what we got going on is this game Gravity Heroes, and it's pretty much
It's really small. That's crazy.
and Gravity Heroes is you know, it looks like many other sort of indie shooter run and gun things right now. But what is interesting is that you can at any point tilt the right stick, and the direction you tilt it in becomes the point of gravity that you get drawn towards. So your surface becomes any surface.
Oh, that's kind of like Gravity Rush.
Yeah, in 2D. And enemies and stuff reflect that. And so based on that sort of thing, it's kind of fun and difficult, and you know, to do fun things like suddenly if I want to dash towards you, I don't have to actually dash.
You just fall.
I can just fall towards you while shooting at you and then turn it back down to do the thing. So Gravity Rush ideas, exactly, in a 2D way. There be that. Okay. More interestingly, I got to take a look at where was it? There it is. Oh yeah. So not too far from Streets of Rage 4 actually was the Takeover. So Matt was there, got to chat for a bit, got to take a look at how this was coming along, seeing what's new. The most standout thing I'd say Takeover has going for it, besides the fucking Baz, is the fact that it's got the gun system that like every character has a gun they can pull out.
Wait, really? I didn't know that.
Everyone, you hold the R button and you pull out a gun, and then like you could just use it. And if you get
what downside is there?
Ammo.
Okay.
So you want to find ammo to do it, but while you're beating up, you can also just do gun shit. And it's got some fucking, you know, fun wrestling moves and shit, and you know, good combo jump potential has been increased as well. But yeah, the gun thing is like you can use if you time it properly, you can like toss somebody and then like juggle them on the bullets as they go down the screen and do stuff like that. So yeah, I'd say that's the biggest standout feature, is just like your beat 'em up game where the characters can just pull out a fucking gun.
That's weird.
So yeah, that's shaping up real nice. Can't wait to see where that goes. And like the first thing I did was fucking fight the Baz, and it's like, oh yeah.
Wait,
he's
first?
Well, I mean, I just went to the stage.
Oh, okay.
It was previously unlocked, and I'm like, I want to see him. Where's my boy? And he was there, and he did the thing. So Matt working hard behind that booth doing his thing, and I'm like, you're stuck behind here forever, right? Like you're just attached to that chair, and it's like, yep, that's the role now. That's what happens when you take on that position. We got to look at. We say we because we're the royal we at this point. No, I got to look at.
Castle Super Boost took a look at.
Speaking Simulator is a simulator.
Wait, I'm sorry?
Speaking Simulator.
Okay, I need help with this.
You are not a human. You are a robot.
Okay.
You are trying to infiltrate and convince everyone that you are a perfectly normal human.
Got it, yeah.
So when Karen from HR asks you on a date and you accept, you have to then emulate a normal human speaking behavior by moving the tongue and your lips and everything in such a way that it does not alert or cause suspicion. And
I see.
It is quite difficult to do so because the direction in which you move your lips and mouth and move your tongue around is very, very tricky and hard.
Well, yeah, speaking is actually an incredibly complex
It's very
process.
hard. Yes, it's quap for the face.
Got it.
All right? Now, that was all fine and dandy and wacky and fun, but then what happened was they're like, hey, you know, if you come back a little later, we can show you something cool. We're working on. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I came back, and then they were like, okay, here, just for you, because we only do this like once a day. And they went to the settings, and they turned on face recognition.
Okay.
And then they went, your mouth is now a controller.
Shouldn't that make the game trivially easy?
You would think.
Yeah.
But it's not asking you to make the noise of hello, Karen.
Yeah.
It's asking you to open up your jaw wide enough that the face detection considers that what the puzzle needs.
Okay.
For its input. So your mouth becomes a DDR pad where there's up, down, left, and right, and you have to suck in parts of your face and move your mouth into the right positions for each of the 4 directions as it asks you to do them, overlapping with each other. And then you still have to move the keyboard to solve the tongue problem. It's way harder using your face. Way harder. But it was funny, and I feel like if they get that working, you're going to end up having a ton of footage of people just making goofy, dumb faces.
Sucking ghost sticks, like
yeah,
I do.
Oh, yeah. People pulled cameras out, and I was oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that tweet never went out.
Every time
I was there going, wow.
Every single time I get into a fighting game and hit a combo,
yeah,
I start giving a ghost a fucking
ghost jobs,
a fucking proper deep throat.
Yep. You got the 2-hander and you're getting the yeah. So that is what this is asking you to do.
On purpose.
Yeah.
Not like subconsciously like I usually do it to ghosts.
But normally with just mouse and keyboard, still quite fucking hard. I played EDF, Iron Rain. It's the new one. Shoutouts to the gentleman at the booth who was a fan who called.
Is that an American one or a Japanese one?
It's Japanese.
Okay.
It's prettier than any other EDF.
Yeah, not saying a lot there.
Yeah, it's come away.
They're pretty ugly.
D3 publisher still doing what it does. However, here's one thing that is sure. Despite all the improvements and things that make this better than
I just saw you shoot ants. I saw ants getting shot.
Despite everything that makes this probably the best EDF game ever or whatever, I can't fucking do it. I can't do it.
What's the problem?
I don't like.
Oh, look, they're fighting the Hectors.
Yeah, I don't like creepy bug legs like
that bugs
up in
you?
my face.
Really?
I don't want them. I don't want the creepy bug legs.
Are you one of those people that sees a spider in a game? You want to mod it out, or like?
No, I can deal with that. But it's just like in this case, I'm just like, yeah, like as long as I kill them and while they're far away, it's fine.
Okay.
But when they get up super close, I'm like, I don't want.
So if I were to throw like a bottle of ants at you, you'd freak out?
Normal sized ants?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, it's big ants.
Yeah.
What if they were like larger than average ants?
So I didn't enjoy that, and I was like, I'm not gonna ever be able to really get into this franchise.
That's
so
weird.
God bless. Is it really?
Well,
because we're born with the
I don't know.
You know,
definitely not born with the fear of giant bugs, because that's not a real thing.
No, but you're born with the fear of giant things that are non-humanoid because
you know what? As a tiny person, I got over there real fast.
It's why we fear snakes.
Because they move. Snakes.
Yeah, but your DNA does.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, it does.
But it doesn't.
Because as human beings, in the same way that
I've petted a bunch of snakes. Snakes are cool.
Okay, you're not listening. So because snakes move strangely and differently in a pattern,
it's cool,
from humans.
Yeah,
we have a like natural aversion to that type of movement.
No, I don't.
Okay, well then, fuck me. But
snakes are cool.
Okay, so there have been articles written about how human beings tend to avoid certain things based on
Snakes are dry. That's the best part about them.
Human beings tend to, whether you do or don't, avoid certain things based on our evolution of being like, that's a bad, get away from that.
No, a natural fear is like being afraid that somebody smeared their dick on everything in the room. That's in your DNA.
That makes way more sense. Yeah. You're born with that.
Yeah.
Right. Even back when everyone's dicks were smeared on everything because dicks were all out all the time.
That's right.
Because what's clothes?
Well, no, it's different because now it's societal. You just go up to and touch things.
Yeah, that's in your DNA.
Yeah, that's in your DNA.
Great. Panzer Paladin, another retro game. Very pretty sprites. Oh, fuck, there's no big trailer here, but this game was actually really cool. And it was more or less like... Again, you want to talk about your throwback style.
This is extremely throwback.
Right, your Shovel Knights.
It is actually much more throwback than a lot of the throwback stuff we've seen.
But what you have is a character that has a ability to swing, up stab, down stab, throw the lance, pick up a new weapon, and then circle or B was like just like instant backdash, like
sounds like Volgar the Viking a little bit.
Symphony of the Night type of thing. And then you can get out of the robot, and then you can grapple swing. And then you can do stuff and then teleport the robot over to you. So Panzer Paladin was also pretty cool.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it was a simple, fun thing that I played very briefly, and I enjoyed it. Worth a mention. Dusk was the crazy game where you can do rainstorms, but with Wolfenstein/Doom graphics.
Yeah, the game's out.
Dusk is out?
Yeah, it's been out forever.
Great. Dusk is great.
We played it on Shitstorm like 2 years ago.
Great. Dusk is great. I loved it a lot. I had a good time with it, and the devs were showing off some cool stuff, and it was good.
You can buy that right the fuck now if you
fantastic. Want. Zarvot, a game about cubes. This is a multiplayer game.
I love cubes.
A multiplayer four-player party
What do you
game.
do with the cubes?
So the cubes shoot at each other, but they also super dash, teleport. They do explosive melees. They sidetrack, and they charge into crazy beams.
I don't understand.
And you try to kill each other, but you're killing each other with, like, edging and zoning and, like, super dash tech.
That's weird.
It's very stylish, but when you see your first cube put up a shield, and then, like, the next one drifts around the stage from that shield and then lands a fully charged laser shot, you go, oh fuck, that's pretty stylish.
Oh man,
for a game with just cubes.
I love cubes.
Cubes doing super stylish things.
Oh man.
You remember Zao Zao?
Yes.
Remember the cool ass stick figures doing cool shit?
Yes, I do.
And you're like, I don't even care about the fact that they're stick figures because they're just doing rad shit.
It's like that, but cubes.
That's what it is.
Cubes are dry.
Zarvot's doing cool shit. Cube bod.
Yeah?
Oh bod. So tired of talking.
You know what the final boss of that should be? Should be a fox cube. And it should be called QB.
Like Kirby, but made out of cubes?
No, like Naruto Fox.
Yeah,
QB.
but QB, but the QB character that's QBBY already exists.
I don't know who that is.
It exists.
But I don't know that.
And then Cube Kirby got made this weekend.
Yeah.
So.
But that wasn't real.
But QB.
I'm so fucking glad it ended up we didn't do the fucking podcast on April Fools.
That would have been...
There was so much fucking stupid shit yesterday.
That would have been dumb. We would have been reporting on Splatoon Island.
Yeah.
Because that was so elaborate and detailed that it's like, why the fuck wouldn't that be real?
I think that April Fools stopped being fun when video game people started to show off April Fools jokes that are things that you just actually want.
Yes.
Like that's when it stopped being fun.
Yeah, I think... what was it? Yeah, no, like Liam said, hey, the fucking quote... The thing of the year, the April Fools of the year goes to the Splatoon Island, and I said just something to the effect of like, the more it hurts you, the more it deserves the crown.
The one that was really bad as well was the Yakuza guys showed off like this incredibly elaborate demo for what like a turn-based RPG in Kamurocho would look like, and it looks amazing. And it's like, just do that, just fucking do that. I would buy that in a second.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So remember Virtua Fighter R or whatever the fuck that was, which was VF with Street Fighter moves.
The more it hurts you, the more it's like, well, this is not fun anymore.
And then For Honor like made itself unplayable for a day.
I love that one. I love that one a lot. the fucking rabbits replaced all the soldiers.
It's really awful. You didn't see what it was like.
I saw what it was like. I took a look. It was great.
Really bad.
Really enjoyed it.
It's gross.
There was one I touched really briefly, and this is a Chinese game that was extremely hard to find on the internet. There's no footage of it anywhere. There's only a couple screenshots. It was pretty stylish though. It was called Heterotopias in the 1989 future. Heterotopias for short.
All right.
And it was very much like Ruiner, if you remember that.
I do.
And you would fight hand-to-hand Ruiner, though. And it had lots of retro cool stuff looking.
I see a lightsaber.
Yeah, and you do some stuff, and it was like you had a deke button and a dodge button. You fought a boss, and it was like, okay, yeah, there's some fun stuff. This can be kind of cool.
That looks like Ruiner.
Yeah, there's some bugs, and the frame rate was pretty rough, and it had some. It was Chinese Ruiner.
Yeah.
And it was it's got some ways to go, but some ideas were there, and the main character was pretty fucking stylish, and they appeared to be very excited that I was there trying the game out, and it was fun and whatnot. But anyway, the game has these Travis touchdown moments where you power up temporarily and you get your fucking lightsaber out, or you get your uppercut into shotgun fist, dash, and then hack that motorcycle from a distance and make it crash into that guy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So like, it has all those bits and pieces. Okay.
Wait, are you afraid of snakes?
No.
Okay.
But
you're not even afraid of snakes then.
I'm not afraid of snakes. But science has said you shut up. Fuck off.
I'm sorry, man. I'm really tired. It must be how I look.
I know, and I feel bad that I feel bad that I'm like, well, let's do PAX and go through all these things and whatnot, and I'm sorry that you're so tired. And
no, you totally that went right over your head. Don't worry about it.
No, it's a call back to the burn from earlier.
No,
I know
that
this
is revenge. This is bitchy revenge.
Really singed you, huh?
Oh yeah. It works. It works out for me. Paige digs it.
Okay. Oh, don't worry.
The closer I can get to a skeleton. I was involved in that.
Oh, you're gonna take the burns.
Yeah, no, that was hey, should I do this? Yeah, you should do that. That's a good idea.
Hey, you know what might be happening at PAX?
Yeah,
might be at a business meeting.
Yes.
You might be at some sort of important place where, and the choice to not use mediums like Twitter or
Twitter, where the garbage can go.
No, because when you send a text message with a photo, the photos pop up on the phone.
Yeah, and then who saw it?
Yeah. So phones are a thing of trust.
Yeah, who saw it?
Yeah. You don't need to worry about that.
Oh, that's good.
But you will take the burns on behalf
of
your fucking ginger brethren and sisterin.
Maybe. As long as we don't do that 23andMe shit.
Whoever's around will feel the wrath.
Yeah?
You share the same fucking bar.
No, it was important. It was Kirby lore.
You share the bar.
It was very important that you saw that image.
Yeah. Fucking blown up my phone.
Please tell me you took that out and there were people around you. Please.
You know who was around?
Who?
German spy was around.
Yeah! I'm gonna fucking talk to him later about
No,
this.
he didn't see it.
I didn't see it?
He didn't see it. We're not at a level where I felt comfortable going there just yet.
But it made you think, right?
Yeah. It certainly did.
This is the best.
I'll tell you who did see it.
Yeah?
You know, the creator of Y2K.
That's why. That's what that tweet was about.
But not just about that, but just from also being familiar with Paige, and being like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah. So this you want to talk about? Speak of the fucking devil. Look at this shit. I got Kirby lore sent to me.
Yeah, no. Paige found a very important image that related to Kirby lore. It was very important, and she was like, "Should I send this to Wooly?" I'm like, "You should absolutely send it to Wooly." And I thought she was gonna send it to you on Twitter, and then she's like, "Okay," so I texted it. I'm like, "You texted it?"
It was delivered, and
I
knew
the
moment that happened, I was like, "This is deliberate."
Oh,
you don't switch over to text suddenly unless you're trying to fucking get shenanigans going quite elaborately.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Well, I mean, you learned something, right?
Phones are a thing of trust.
You don't know what it's like on this side of it. You don't know what shows up on my fucking phone. You wouldn't believe what skeletons can do. It's awful.
I played Skatebird.
Skatebird?
Skatebird.
Okay.
Skatebird is a game about a bird trying its best to skate.
Skateboard. It's got headphones on.
Yep. Skatebird.
Oh, it's using a trick deck, or what are those called?
Finger deck.
Finger deck.
Yep. Skatebird is a fucking bird. Skatebird. It's Skatebird.
Yeah.
And guess what? It plays like
Tony Hawk.
questions. You're a bird.
You do Tony Hawk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Done. That's it.
Did you know that hawk also means bird?
There you go. My one question was, will there be other burbs? I was told yes.
Yes. Yeah, because you're playing as like a fat cardinal there, but you could play as a different type of bird.
There will be multiple.
Okay, so you know what would make Tony Hawk really cool? Is if you could unlock a hawk, right? But then the hawk is like a bird, and then it's Tony's fucking head on it.
I would feel
like its head.
I would be uncomfortable with that, which is why they should do it.
Yeah, they should do it.
No one was standing next to it, but it was just out. Like, it feels like someone just rolled a TV in and turned it on and put controllers next to it and just fucked off.
Yeah.
But
like, there's no one there?
There was a setup anonymously running Samurai Gun 2.
Oh, really?
And, hey, guess what? It's Samurai Gun.
This feels like a start to, like, a hidden camera show.
Basically. Samurai Gun is doing its Samurai Gun thing, and guess what? It's still really good.
Yeah,
except
looks good. I'm
this
seeing
time
footage.
around, there's a bunch of characters with names and identities and designs.
That seems to be the usual path for that type of indie game.
Yeah, so the first time it's just a bunch of pixels doing whatever, and then the next time they make those pixels have identities.
Yeah. And
that's it. Samurai Gun 2. It's more. More of Samurai Gun.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong.
Colt Canyon is an Enter the Gungeon style roguelike type thing, except you are doing a Western cowboy thing.
Yeah.
And a bunch of unmarked silhouettes that appear to be savage take your silhouette girlfriend away, and you, as a silhouette cowboy, have to go out and shoot them.
Oh, that's a cool art style.
Yeah. Again, they're all silhouettes, so you're a silhouette cowboy fighting other silhouette savage people. Like, it's.
I saw they used katanas. I saw they were using katanas.
Boy, does it dance! But nonetheless, you shoot and
dance, Wooly.
I did. This was funny. But yeah, you fucking just.
The only issue I can see with this game right away is that the silhouette style is like kind of blending into the background for some of the enemies.
It makes them a little hard to see sometimes.
There isn't like a black outline around the white shapes, so I feel like maybe they.
But you like. It might be intentional because sometimes you hit like rays of light that are super bright anyway.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, yeah. What are you gonna say? You know, it's fucking.
Yeah.
It's one of those. What do you call them? Like run and gun, twin sticks.
Twin stick roguelikes.
Yeah, twin stick roguelike.
It's a shooter. Shoot them all.
Talked about this one a little bit earlier before. One Step from Eden. It is the no frills, get the filler out. Mega Man Battle Network
Fast Go
Hyper Edition.
Yeah.
If you like Mega Man Battle Network, but you hated everything that was not the combat, and I mean literally everything, because the game, you press start in this, and then it begins a bloody palace.
Yeah.
Right?
I saw this at MagFest, and I looked at it for about 5 seconds and went, that's too much for me, and then walked away.
It's really fun.
Yeah, I bet, but like
Mega Man Battle Network Bloody Palace with decks of moves that you randomly pick up between fights. Well, you choose which one of the three
Mega Man's
want.
Bloody Network. And
then you reshuffle the deck to randomly get the moves, and then you just have to react to crazy patterns in Battle Network style. And it's very cool. And I am like, is there going to be? And he's like, multiplayer is coming.
Yay.
So, yeah.
Now everyone is happy.
You know, if you wanted more of that, and Capcom is not giving you more Battle Network.
No, they sure aren't.
One Step from Eden is more than Battle Network. It's fucking Battle Network Extreme Hyper Plus. So, yeah. One Step from Eden. Played MK11, nothing new to say there.
Guess what? That game looks cool. You see Max talking about the YouTube stuff with that?
No.
Everybody's getting flagged all the time.
Why?
For that shit. Because gore.
Oh.
Inappropriate for audiences.
Well, yeah.
And then people were like, well, what about your old video about like MK10 like fatalities? He's like, those were all performed on Sub-Zero, who has blue blood, and YouTube's shit didn't pick it up.
That's really, really funny. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
That's how you avoid it.
Yeah. But it's like content.
So then do it on Reptile.
Content creation.
Yeah.
Reptile's not in the game.
Well, yeah. Well,
but like content creation for that game looks kind of dicey because like pretty much any footage is getting flagged for inappropriate for audiences on YouTube.
Gearus doesn't have red blood.
Yeah, no, but you're not like I'm talking matches. Like I'm talking like
Yes, generalized content. Yeah. And then lastly, got hands on with Erratus, Lord of the Dead. This appears to be a Darkest Dungeon clone.
Okay.
And how cloney of Darkest Dungeon is it?
How cloney is it?
Well, if we
get a gameplay video instead of this cutscene shit. Give me one screenshot, one human being screenshot. That's Darkest Dungeon, man.
Darkest Dungeon is
just literally Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
That is a clone. That is a fucking clone.
Yeah.
I hope it's good.
So, it had one thing. You play as the monsters instead of the humans.
Okay, cool.
And when
humans suck.
And when your monsters die, you can like use body parts to make new ones.
Cool.
So it's almost as if you're playing the opposite team.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
And one thing, there was an ability that one thing had was like you can put a character that was like an archer on Overwatch, right?
Huh.
So they're doing the if anyone moves, they get shot thing. But then you can use the other character to push and pull their abilities around.
Yeah.
So you're doubling and tripling damage on certain things. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I enjoyed that. So, but anyway, it is a clone as fuck Darkest Dungeon clone.
That's cool.
Not sure what else to say besides that.
Hey, you went to PAX, right? Mm-hmm. Did you happen to check out the Borderlands presentation?
No, I caught tweets where everyone yelled about how cringy it was.
It was real bad, dude. I didn't get to watch it myself, but I
heard there was card tricks involved.
I caught up, and like Randy Pitchford was like stalling for time by doing like embarrassing card tricks on stage.
All I do know is that there was new woolly bait.
Yeah. Borderlands 3, everyone get excited for the Epic Store.
Everyone get excited for those abs. Did you see them?
Yeah, I saw them.
Okay, so here's the part where my reporting on Borderlands 3 will consist entirely of the fact that there's this character, and she looks very cool. And she has these big old Azura's Wrath glowing arms for punching.
She does.
And she's got a ponytail, but there's short hair on the sides, but she's got this cool thing, and she's got purple, and she looks like a rad character. Very, very good woolly bait.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the trailer. I don't know.
She's a siren. She's
cool.
a siren character.
Also, Reese and...
Reese got a mustache now.
Reese got a mustache. She's back. And, what's her name?
Whatever.
Laura Bailey. Reese and...
You're doing it, man. You're doing a great job.
Well, chat will catch up.
Everyone's proud of you.
Chat will catch up. Chat will catch up.
Yeah.
Chat will catch up. Fiona, thank you.
Yeah. You're doing it. You're doing a good
Reese
job.
and Fiona are back, so that's really fun. Which went out, and that I got to crack the news to some of the Telltale folks that worked on Tales at the time, and I was like, "Oh, did you see Reese and Fiona are back?" And they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, look at this shit." And they're like, "They give him a mustache?" I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Wow," you know. So
that's
like,
weird, man.
So that's cool, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool that they got kept, because those are cool characters. Reese and Fiona are cool.
Yeah. Apparently, the writing is going to be closer to Borderlands 1, which is really important.
Yeah.
I foresee. Yeah. Do you play Borderlands 1 or 2?
Nope.
Borderlands 2 was like a fucking meme apocalypse, and it was like consistently bad, and people generally lay the blame on that like pretty sorely at the feet of Anthony Birch.
Whereas, but the Tiny Tina stuff, right?
Yeah, okay. But like just imagine that, but the whole game just nonstop. And then 1 is like way more reserved, and it's just kind of black humor, kind of dry, kind of thing. And
is that how most people felt?
Yeah, I would say like you can look at the chat and see if everybody thinks I'm full of shit, right? But like, I foresee the Borderlands 3 having a writing style that is way closer to 1, except for Claptrap, who will just be a fucking like absolute nonstop meme machine but that's fine because everyone in universe fucking hates Claptrap. So that's good.
So card tricks, huh?
Yeah. And he was like running around on stage all weird and shit. Looked like from what I could tell, looked like a guy afraid that he's gonna go to jail.
I was like, any magic USB keys from behind the ear?
Nah. I think people in the
Sleight of
crowd
hands.
like
Sleight of hands.
said some kind of joke about that. But their presentation broke. Like that was the weirdest thing about it.
So was it stalling for time?
Yeah, it was stalling for time because their presentation broke.
But
they couldn't get the video to play.
Okay, but a friend of mine told me though that like he has done similar card tricks on stage.
Yeah, I went and saw. Me and Liam went to a fucking game design conference in Montreal, and Randy was there giving a speech, and he was like, "Hey, magic, ha, magic."
So it's not completely out of
yeah,
nowhere.
no, he is obsessed with being a part-time magician.
There's a precedent for that.
And making people's money disappear. Ha, but yeah.
So anyway,
Magicians are untrustworthy.
Well, I mean, after a certain age. How about that? I'll qualify it. Because there's an age that it's like...
Yeah, after a certain age, a lot of things are untrustworthy.
That's what I'm saying. Well...
Moving on.
Magic is a profession that should be locked to...
Yeah.
I mean, the younger you are, the more awesome it is that you're a magician.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
It's crazy.
And then after
what kind of magic you see on a USB key.
And then after a certain point, you're not in elementary school. Anyway. Because in elementary school, you put on a magic show for the class.
Okay, so we were going in different directions.
No,
and that
I was
got way
sandbagging,
darker
but
than I thought. Yeah, you were talking card tricks.
Card tricks.
All right.
Then you put
we're not talking
rabbit out of
Randy
the hat.
Pitchford's
Birthday
opinion
party
of magic.
Right?
All right.
And then in high school, you know, like my friend that was
we need to get out of this.
All right. All right.
There any news?
There's actual news.
All right.
The big one cracked while we were talking.
Yep.
And we're on the update of this story, so we don't even
yeah?
have the original.
I haven't even been looking at this.
So the update is involving a BioWare response to a Kotaku article about Anthem's development.
Okay, so
we are 3 or 4 rounds deep.
Okay, so I'm gonna just backtrack. So Kotaku put out an article a few hours ago that spoke with a bunch of devs under conditions of anonymity, and the long and short of it is that every single part of Anthem's development was insanely fucked up. It really only started real production like a year and a half ago. The 2017 E3 trailer was completely fake, and that was essentially the trailer that they made and then took back to the team and said, this is what the game is.
Like Versus 13?
Yeah. And Flying had been cut and recut and put back in at every stage of development. And the reason why the game is in a state that it is that when they showed it to Patrick Soderlund of EA, the game was so pathetic that he's like, you need to do something crazy. And all they had that worked at the time was Flight. So they put it back in the game to show it to him so that it wouldn't get canceled. And then he was like, that's amazing.
That's what the article says.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
this was all confirmed from Kotaku.
Multiple sources.
Speaking to multiple sources.
And basically every guess that we had about the game's development, about why it was fucked up and the last second bug fixes, especially the stuff you were saying, Wooly, that's like just plugging holes.
Yeah.
Like 100% dead on.
Yeah, okay.
And like as of 2018, the release date had been set, but like they had not made a single mission. Like,
was there anything pointing to the other guesses about like how this is like this is a restart?
No, in fact, what it was is that there were like tons of prototypes of what the game was all the way through the end of 17, but they could never figure out which one it was supposed to be, despite having prototype after prototype going back to like 2011, I think it was.
I imagine there's a lot of people who are not super proud about like their names being on what is currently fucking fire.
Yeah, the game's on fire. It described just tons of senior staff burning out or just quitting in the middle of development. Them watching EA Montreal burn down and going, at least that's not us, and then them starting to burn down, and then people in EA BioWare Austin going fuck, and like a weird fucked up, you know how fans of game studios say like there's the A team and the B team?
Yeah.
BioWare did that internally, which causes a lot of tension when you're bringing in BioWare Austin to help you out to piss on your fire, essentially. And people in Edmonton going, well, we're the A team. We're going to clutch it out because we're real BioWare, not like Austin. And all the fucking... Everything about Anthem has been a trash fire behind the scenes as well.
There was a bio war.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there may have been some biomutants.
Not German, though.
No. But yeah, every single part of this game is about as fucked up as you would have thought it was. And apparently... I can't believe there's a real response. I want to see what this response is. What is the response to the article?
I mean, the fucking one-upsmanship of the Hold My Beer Olympics that Anthem and Fallout are playing with each other.
It's unbelievable.
As I want to say, never before seen.
Never before seen results.
Can we say it broke new ground?
These two games have legitimately broken new ground.
It broke. The response appears to be, if I may read for the first time live on the air.
Yeah. Can we get a quote here?
We'd like to take a moment. Oh, that's a long quote. All right, we might. All right, we might. We can do it. We can do it.
You can. You know what? Okay, hold on. Where is this? Where is this article?
It is on heavy.com. But
heavy.com.
We can just go. Here we go.
Okay, because I can read really fast. So I can skim
We'd like
this.
to take a moment to address an article published
there.
this morning about BioWare and Anthem's development. First and foremost, we wholeheartedly stand behind
really? Heavy.com?
Yeah.
You sure? Okay.
/games/2019.
Okay, /games.
/BioWare. First and foremost, we wholeheartedly stand behind every current and former member of our team that worked on the game, including leadership. It takes a massive amount of effort, energy, and dedication to make any game, and making Anthem would not have been possible without every single one of their efforts. We chose not to comment or participate in this story because we felt there was an unfair focus on the specific team members and leaders who did their absolute best to bring this totally new idea to fans. We didn't want to be part of something that was attempting to bring them down as individuals. We respect them all. We built this game as a team.
Yeah, so this is a response because all of the people Kotaku interviewed pretty much laid the blame at the feet of like the top 5 people in charge.
Okay.
And said they never took charge, and they would have design meetings about like, hey, what is this enemy type about?
Okay,
and
stop,
they would argue.
Stop.
Sorry.
Pause. All right. So the chat is yelling that we didn't read the article. So I would like to find out.
I read that article this morning on the way over here.
Okay. So I'd like to find out as the yelling occurs live.
Yeah.
Let's get corrected and let's be wrong.
That is
let's update what we know.
That is
this is hot. This literally came out while we were on the air.
That is in response to pretty much everybody Kotaku spoke to during the pre-production phase, which was like 4 years. They would go into an
Oh, not us. EA didn't read the article.
Oh.
BioWare didn't read the article. That's what they're saying.
Okay.
Everyone's yelling they didn't read it, not us as they,
Okay.
but they're saying this response was made without them reading it. I see what you're saying.
That's weird. But
what the fuck?
The general takeaway is like you would go into a meeting with like your senior designer, and you would go, how is this going to work? And you would argue for hours, and then no decision would be made. And then you would you like about how missions were going to work, or how inventory was going to work, or how saving was going to work, or whatever. And then you would be sent back to your desk to keep working on the thing you just decided that you didn't know what you were going to do. And that happened for years.
So that's how first-time games from first-time like directors and such come together, where you don't realize that you can't just make things up on the spot.
So a lot of the blame on this is being leveraged in a couple places. Like what are the biggest problems? Casey Hudson left.
You can't feature creep a game into existence.
Yeah, Casey Hudson left.
Apparently you can.
And Casey's the kind of guy who they described it as the Enterprise, where Casey Hudson was Picard and everybody just did whatever the fuck he said, for better or worse. So very, very clear vision despite that. Then as the shit would catch on fire, people left. One guy died. Like just vacancies at the top for leadership positions, essentially. And then the people that are left there just like, we need a decision on the way this shit works so that we can build it. And then no decision would get made. And so it wouldn't get built. or it would get built and then thrown out.
I mean, people leaving is always multiple. Like, you're like, this burnout combined with this is a mess, combined with I can spend my time doing better things, combined with the stress isn't worth it, combined with I see where this is going, I want no part of it.
I need to get my name off these credits.
There's a million things that come into mind when you decide that quitting is the better choice.
The other thing is that there are people that were given like pretty much all levels of staff, but it was more damaging the higher up they were, that were working so much crunch the whole time that their doctors told them take a couple weeks, take a couple months off doctor's orders. Then some of those people just didn't come back.
So some of those points sound like points that came up during Andromeda.
Yep, and specifically, the article goes into the fact the quote is, "The success of Dragon Age Inquisition is the worst thing that has ever happened to this company." Because Dragon Age Inquisition was made in a fucked up, comes together at the last second hyper crunch scenario.
So it worked out in that case.
And it worked out. And
it also changed the direction of the types of games they'd be making.
And that caused upper management to go, well, that works. And they had a decades long culture there.
That's brutal.
Called the BioWare magic, which I know a bunch of other devs that work this way, and so do you, and you've probably worked with them. Game is a trash fire right up until 2 months before launch.
And then it just gets
And then it just, bam, all comes together at once.
Okay, that magic is not magic.
Yeah.
It's called, literally, it is called massively experienced, talented individuals who know how to clean it up at sacrifice of 10% of their life.
Right. Problem is, those people were gone.
Yeah.
And so the BioWare magic couldn't happen, and the game was too big.
People on the team, like, they fucking monkey paw chunks of their life force away to make these things come together.
And, there's more. 2 months ago.
Blood magic.
I think 2 months, not 2 months ago, 2 months before launch, they're, doing the itemization, and they realized there's literally nowhere in the game that people can see your gear. So the launch bay area where you walk around and see your shit was outsourced, I think.
That's why it's so different.
That's why it sucks also, months before the game came out. So at the time of
BioShock multiplayer
at the time of the premium beta demo, whatever the fuck that is, that shit was 6 weeks old.
Huh. And then you just and so because no one would see it otherwise.
Because they're we accidentally made a game about itemization, which, by the way, was not the case up until the end of 2018. And now there's nowhere to see it.
Well, I mean, in instances.
Yeah, they talked about how part of the issues, the engine was a massive problem the whole way down, but because FIFA was having trouble, EA took all the Frostbite engineers that existed at BioWare and took them away from them to go work on FIFA, and just left them high and dry.
Well, yeah,
because FIFA's
the blood.
But it means they had people that work at BioWare that could fix the engine, and now they didn't.
FIFA is the truth, the light, and the way. There's nothing more important at any given time than FIFA.
Dragon Age 4 got canceled in this process. Mm-hmm. To get staff off of it to work on Anthem, and has been restarted under a different project. So Dragon Age 4 got killed and resurrected and restarted in the past 6 months.
That's what
over this.
That's what that article says.
Yeah. It used to be codenamed Joplin, and now it's codenamed something else under a much smaller team.
There may have been corroborative whispers.
Yes, I know.
That have been on the winds about
I have also heard from my own people corroborative whispers about some of the aspects of the asset creation. And let me give you an example of how bad this was in terms of restarting it. They had been building the whole game as a pseudo-realistic online shooter, but not a loot one, and had decided to take flying out and then built the world accordingly before they were told 16 months ago to put flying back in and redesign the entire game assuming that the character could fly. Uh-oh. Oops. Like...
Okay. I only have one question.
Ask me your question.
I mean, because I want to scroll down to
I
the
read that
bottom of
article
this.
twice, so I think I have a pretty decent grasp on it.
Okay, I want to scroll down to the bottom of their response, right?
Yeah.
But is this is this the worst or whatever? Is this your golden example of everyone knows you should pull out, but you've spent too much money?
No. Actually. This game was worked on in pre-production for like 4 or 5 years. And it was like the quote is that we never had an elevator pitch for the game. There was literally never an elevator pitch for the game. By the way, but Anthem is not what this game is supposed to be. That's not the game's name.
Well, surely not.
The game's name is Beyond. But like 3 weeks before E3, when it was supposed to be shown, EA's like, we can't get that trademarked. So fuck it, it's Anthem now. And people went, what the fuck is Anthem? And then they had to retrofit the fucking name Anthem into the game's story. Also, the first writer they brought on left, and then the second writer they brought on quit.
Yeah.
Before the game shipped, which is why everything about the game's story is a fucking mess. They describe how... Okay, this is my favorite part. Word from on high comes down in a fucking document that says this game has to be unmemeable. That's a directive from corporate.
Written down.
Yeah. And the question comes back, what the fuck is that?
They went force respect.
And they went, Mass Effect Andromeda is an embarrassment for the company. The faces...
Only because of the memeables.
Yes.
That's why.
Yes. They're afraid of not the
not the content.
No, it's the fact that my face is tired became a meme. So they say, here's money. You are going to spend a shit ton of money on performance capture, right? So you look at Anthem, and guess what? The facial animation's really high quality, right? But leads to dialogue in which they're talking about characters as if they're not there, but they are there. And they're talking about events that didn't happen as if they happened. And that's because they spent all that money on performance capture a year ago, but then the missions those characters were in changed around them, and they literally didn't have the time or money to re-record those lines or performance captures.
Can we just jump cut to the hard future where, like the Metacritic bonus, we got the meme doc?
Yeah.
Where for every major meme that makes it over a certain threshold of popularity on social media, you get docked a bonus?
Yeah. Corporate says no memes.
Oh my god.
And then by accident they make a game like so kind of oatmeal.
You gotta put
that there aren't that many Anthem memes.
Someone in QA did meme team playthroughs where it's like,
can somebody meme this? Take it out.
Yeah, go through this filtering for memeables.
By the way, I don't know if developers know this. I'm sure most of them do. Memes can be good for your game.
Sure can.
Funny jokes about Dante being a fucking idiot gay cowboy riding his motorcycle into people's faces and dancing like an asshole.
Goofy two-framers.
Guess what? That translated into dollars.
Woohoo Waha Pizza.
There are people who saw... Okay, did you see the fucking...
No, don't look at him. He is not motivated.
Did you see the meme image?
You cannot be
that's just
powerful
Virgil being all
sleep.
serious and shit and like, Dante, now we will fight. And then the next panel is Dante with the hat driving the fucking motorcycle into his fucking mouth.
Yes.
Yeah, someone bought the game because of that.
They're like...
At least one person saw that and went, okay, I gotta know what this game is. And bought the game.
A-class bug found, type category, meme.
M.
Screenshot attached.
M for meme.
Severe. Fixed immediately.
Look, think about Mr. X, dude. How many people might have bought that game because the Mr. X meme was like way more far-reaching than the game's actual marketing.
Yeah, Capcom's meme income
is
through
high.
The fucking roof right
and it's
now.
always been high. Nintendo's too.
Except for when they choose to refuse.
Except when they refuse the memes.
Yes.
But then that makes the memes...
Their
resistance only makes the memes harder, okay?
The power grows. It gets veinier as it goes on. She got
If you
swole.
deny my meme, it grows only by the girth of my veins.
That meme's getting in somehow or another, and Nintendo can't stop it.
All right, that's...
Into the public consciousness.
We need dry memes, all right? Can I get some dry memes? Can I start like a dry meme? Like, you know, respectful memes? You follow that Twitter account?
Wow, I didn't think that's where I thought you were like as opposed to the lubricated ones.
Yeah, that was the double entendre I was going for.
Okay, well, great.
You did get it.
Okay,
you
good,
did get it.
Good. All right.
Because I don't want to follow the wet memes Twitter account.
No.
The moist memes.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, the more you shame it, the more powerful it grows.
That's a Hero Eka character. You know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I guess I haven't.
It's in the spin-off Vigilantes. It's a Hero Eka character that is like shame it's like the Hulk, but instead of anger, it's shame.
Shame me.
And it's Hulk. It's shame equal power.
Okay.
And so he starts off by streaking.
Right. Embarrassing fashions.
And then he's like, okay, well, you kind of get used to streaking.
Yeah.
So then I think it's like he starts digging up like high school fan fiction that he wrote. And all sorts of stupid shit.
You would have to work yourself to the next level to find new powerful shame abilities. That's pretty impressive. I don't envy that at all. That's unfortunate because you have to really believe it.
Yeah, you have to really feel
you can't
bad.
Fake shame.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Go read that article.
The plug pull that didn't occur is so surprising and confusing. Okay, so basically what they end off this thing with is emphasis on workplace culture.
Fuck off.
New IPs are hard. As a studio and a team, we accept criticism. People put passion and energy into making something fun. Don't tear down another's work. Focus on the players, continuing to make Anthem better for the community.
There's a lot of people who worked really hard on Anthem that saw all their good work literally thrown away and have their names on that credit.
And games that were not Anthem.
Right? And
apparently.
Yeah. So hey, yeah. Hey, you know, here's what let me drill down to what that actually means. Don't talk shit about the people who are still actually in charge, please. But the main thing, hey, why'd this happen? And the general thing is like, hey, guess what? Casey Hudson's gone. The doctors are gone. The vast majority of BioWare's original staff from the 90s now work at Obsidian. It's the people who run that ship and have run that ship to greatness don't work there anymore.
Speaking of ships and memeables.
That's right. Let's ship some memes. Or meme some ships.
Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah? What about it?
Re-released.
Yeah.
On the HD.
Yeah, that's right. The remaster.
Remastered, remodeled.
What happened to it?
Well, we have some tweets here that I've linked in the description.
I didn't see this, so I'm excited. I'm really
excited.
excited.
If you want to go to the description of Castle Lubrius, you can see the tweets and where we have characters where their models go from faces like that back in the day to faces like this.
Are you fucking serious?
Every model was replaced. And
that looks like shit.
Between 2012 and 2019, I can only describe it as it looks like it's going from pre-production, or it looks like it's going from
final release to pre-production. That looks like shit.
This is like Silent Hill.
What the fuck?
Like HD collection levels. Let's go down to the next one, shall we?
What the fuck, man?
Yeah. We've got one of
Assassin's Creed 3 was really impressive graphically for its release.
And yeah, the worst part I think is the fact that not just how bad the model quality and textures and shit are all fucked up with these screenshots, but the fact that the lighting of the entire world is gone because they also didn't do that properly.
Okay, so this got outsourced. This got outsourced to some fucking port job hack fucks.
It's kind of nuts.
Because the original game ran really badly. So I'm going to assume this was all done as like that most hackneyed attempts at, oh my fucking god, that looks so bad. Holy shit, dude. By the way, fun fact, I heard people complaining about this, but I didn't see it. You can't buy AC3 on the PC anymore.
Is that gone?
It's gone. AC Remastered's the only one that exists.
Yeah, so...
Also, do you remember Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition?
Okay.
On the PC, that version is absolutely not definitive because it is way worse than the original PC version because it's a port of the improved console version with all sorts of new bugs, and it doesn't look nearly as good.
Yeah, I didn't touch that one.
But when the PC version of Definitive Edition came out, they delisted the original, much better version. This happens quite often, actually.
That sucks.
It really does suck.
I did not. I'm probably still in the credits on it, though.
Well, you did a good job, because I didn't run into a bug once.
Oh, boy. Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft!
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Now, I saw an article that was called something to the effect of Assassin's Creed 3 is a lot better when you go in expecting to hate it. And I was like, wow.
That game sucks. That game's really bad. Big disappointment.
The potential, though.
It was America! We were going to do Assassin's Creed America!
World, Connor running with the wolves.
Wilderness area?
Yeah.
Boats?
Boats, though.
Boats, though.
Boats, though.
Boats, though.
All right. Some wacky wild ones dropped real quick. In the realm of the.
I am so hungry. I am sweating.
I'm quite
I don't know if you could see, but my hand was shaking like this. I didn't eat anything. I woke up too late to come over here.
Same here.
Yeah.
Because it's been a very busy, very, very busy set of hours.
Oh my god.
But Hyper Light Drifter TV series in the works from Alex Preston and Castlevania's Adi Shankar.
This needs to be 3 episodes and cost infinity dollars.
That's the exact thing that it needs to be, Pat. That is exactly what it needs to be. Holy shit. Yes. So
you're pissed that I got there before you, huh?
It's so accurately exactly what it needs to be. When you're right, you're fucking right. Infinity dollars for 3 episodes.
And
Let's go.
Oh man.
So
it's not.
So, as you know, right? Devil May Cry.
Yep.
I mean, that Zelda talk happened at some point, but never when we didn't know.
Obviously, Castlevania came out, was dope.
Castlevania was good enough, so now they're really, really going hard on it.
Good. This is a good path for video game stuff.
But the picks they're grabbing are now unpredictable.
Yeah, I would never have thought to see this. Dragon's Dogma's getting a fucking show, man.
Now it is unpredictable. The fucking papers are up in the air. Who knows what can get an animation show on Netflix, because anything is up for grabs. Castlevania, Devil May Cry, Dragon's Dogma, Hyper Light Drifter. Go fuck yourself. You know what's next.
Yeah, I don't know.
Although the Adi Shankar, what is it, the bootleg universe?
Yeah.
In particular, is like, it's mainly those. But yeah. Incredible. Anything with a strong enough like visual identity should be up for grabs. But I would never imagine this one, because it's such a video game.
Yeah.
It's such a fucking video game.
Did you play Hyper Light Drifter?
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird ass mysterious shit going on there. You could do a quiet like Samurai Jack kind of thing.
But you'd almost be like, why not turn that into... Well, because the other game got announced, and that's also very pretty. Anyway, this is exciting, and this is one of those things where you just see it and you go, yeah, man.
I absolutely adore Hyper Light Drifter. I fucking adore that game. That game is amazing.
But this could have been Hollow Knight movie in the works.
Yeah.
And you just go
Teen Hollow Knight.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the fucking weird one of the week there. Yeah, and I mean the others aren't really that big of a deal, so that's fine. We talked about that Darli Dagger.
I want to put out a piece of news: is that Enter the Gungeon's getting a free update this week on Friday.
Yeah,
that will have a new floor, new boss, and two new characters.
Okay, yeah, they had a nice, cool booth set up.
So they had this thing a long time ago where they did Advanced Gungeons and Dragons, and then they said that they were working on one last piece of DLC that would actually be a paid expansion. And then they said, okay, well, we actually kind of want to move off of it. So it's going to be a little smaller, but be free. And then a year and a half passed. And now they're talking about this, and it has more stuff in it than Advanced Gungeons and Dragons. So fucking sick. Especially since, to my tastes, Gungeon is my favorite of the roguelikes.
So the problem is because I dropped off before going further. When I was walking by and I was seeing cool shit, I wasn't sure if it was new or old, and I was like, ah!
You wouldn't have... that kind of stuff is a little subtle for roguelike stuff, so I don't blame you. And it's called A Farewell to Arms. Which,
I think
what a
that's
great
what
name.
The booth was. And it was also like a bullet-shaped screen, and it was cool. Anyway... so yeah, I mean, something that I enjoy, because I'm gonna push that, is the fact that R-Type Final 2 announced for PS4.
Cool. R-Type's cool.
R-Type is very cool, and it was on April Fool's, but then it turns out it's super fucking real.
Yeah, but it wasn't April Fool's in Japan when it got announced, which is the dumbest part.
Yeah, so if anyone out there is a fan of shmups, and you know, you're a fan of the good shmups, then you should be a fan of R-Type. And R-Type Final 2 coming to PS4, and in the trailer they show you what you want to see. They show you the option type things. They show you the fucking the amount of ships. They show you all of it, and it's probably
R-Type's dope, man.
Yeah. I really fucking need to sit down and actually play Resogun.
I wish we could get another Gradius though, because I fucking love me some Gradius.
But you specifically want the follow-up to Gradius.
I want
5.
Gradius 6.
You want Gradius 6.
Yeah.
Not just any Gradius.
I prefer Gradius to R-Type, and I know that's really specific.
That is just the truth.
Yeah.
Gradius 5 is so strong that it takes that. Yeah. Absolutely does.
But R-Type's nothing to slouch at.
No. Quite frankly, the treasure games are your peak, and then you get into the into the weeds. But like, no, Gradius 5.
But where does Toho fit in?
In prison.
Where it belongs with the rest of the anime.
Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit Become Human.
Did you see the fucking recommended specs on this shit?
PC via Epic Games Store. Epic Games Store getting a lot of push.
Did you see the Destructoid front page when this got announced?
The rec specs.
Did you see the fucking front page of Destructoid? It was a quote from Tim Sweeney saying, hey, we're not gonna, the reason why Epic doesn't have that many games on the service, we're not gonna put bad games on our platform. And then like 3 hours later, this got announced. And so they were like right next to each other in the fucking newsfeed. Was the funniest fucking thing. Has there been a
single piece of positive news about the Epic Games Store? I can't think of...
Get ready for
people are so mad about the Outer Worlds.
Get ready for the biggest one, because Borderlands 3, they leaked out a Twitter ad, and that's going to be at the Epic Games Store. And get ready for people to be absolutely fucking pissed off for good reason. So, Wooly, I don't know how familiar you are with the Epic Games Store at all.
I've never even seen it.
So there's two reasons why people are pissed. One, paid exclusives on PC is like the worst thing ever. That was one of those perks that you just got to ignore as a PC gamer, right? And the second thing is that the Epic Games Store is like the worst store ever.
Okay, well, now hold on, because we're really fighting through a world of bullshit of, like, I've had to use Origin a lot recently.
Okay, so
I've used Uplay.
I will explain to you why, and it's in a simple manner. The Epic Games Store barely exists. There's no search function in the store tab. There's no shopping cart. There's no email verification when you make an account, so people can steal your email out from under you without verifying it.
Then why the push for exclusivity?
Money, Wooly. They're building it later. They put out a roadmap. But like, Wooly, they put out a roadmap, and they say that they're going to have a shopping cart within 6 weeks.
Oh my god. Oh my god. So the store was supposed to be something else by this point in time, probably?
No, they're just starting it up now.
Because when you start locking in exclusives, usually you know...
Also, the game spies on your processes in a way that is somewhat uncomfortable to a lot of people.
If your store is shit, I hope everyone yells loudly until they realize that you can't do that. Like, at the very minimum, if you are pulling people away from the platform that is there that they can have the news and works or whatever, and you want to go with an exclusive thing, at the very minimum, your thing should be competitive. And if it is, then you can go, well, I can see why they want to do this.
Well,
it's inconvenient, but I get it. That's business, right? We can't be like, hey, why isn't the fucking PSN on the eShop?
Do you want to hear the competitive nature of this thing?
Sure.
Fortnite.
What about it?
Fortnite.
Okay, but
no, the thing
it's
is,
not the only place you're going to
They
would never.
They have hundreds of millions of people registered to an account system.
Yes.
So they go, let's build a store around it.
But Fortnite is on everything.
Yes,
and
but
Fortnite
on the PC, they have hundreds of millions of accounts registered.
So
then they go, well, why don't we leverage this into a store?
Why don't we?
But then they have Fortnite money.
Yes. Got it.
Apparently, the deal for developers for this timed exclusivity is the wildest exclusivity deal ever, which is that first of all, they only take, I think it's 12% of the income rather than Steam's 30%.
Yep.
And apparently, if your projections for sales end up being way lower than what you get, they will reimburse some of that to you.
If you're trying to,
so if you lose sales by going to Epic, they will reimburse you some of the cash. So there's no loss.
Yeah, if you're trying to fight Steam, you have to do that.
Yeah, but the problem is that the Steam fight it's bad. There's no offline mode.
I
have friends who had their accounts stolen due to Fortnite.
What do you mean? There's no offline mode?
I mean that you can't play anything offline. The store doesn't go offline.
Okay, so everyone signs up for Fortnite. That's infinity people.
Yeah.
Right.
And they go,
We have a list. They're all here. What do we do?
Make some money.
Make some money.
Well, okay. No one likes it because our store is literally a web page. Instead of spend a shit zillion resources to get the fucking store up to snuff within like a day. They said
spend the resources to get the exclusives.
Let's spend a couple $1 billion on
exclusive. Yeah,
buying a dozen games.
Lock it down.
Yeah,
and then that way, who cares how bad it is? You're coming here for it.
And they actually did an interview. I think with Sweeney, who said like, "Listen, we obviously can't do this forever. There's not enough money in the world to just keep buying up PC games for years. But we think we can build an install base with this." But the reality of it is that everybody that I know that buys and plays a lot of PC games is like boycotting that store out of fucking spite because they're so mad.
I heard one of the funniest things this weekend about because at the mixer I was trying to figure out, I'm like, what's the deal with the mixer? Yeah. Right? What's the deal with spinning mixer?
What is it?
And there's like, what's different and whatever. And so there's a couple of things in particular, like the whole like the partner threshold is way lower.
Yeah.
So so a lot of people get in there, but then not a lot of viewers get in there. So what you end up with is a community of a bunch of creators kind of watching each other's stuff and hosting and rehosting in a perpetual creator content paradise.
Sub for sub.
But it's because sub for sub world.
Sub for sub world.
Sub for sub universe. But what ends up happening is there's stuff that is there like so when you watch stuff, you can build a currency by watching over time.
Yeah.
It's like bits, but it's watch currency. And then that currency can be spent on certain types of emotes. Like every time you want to do a certain type of emote, you spend some currency to do the one.
Yeah.
And that watch currency, when the emote is spent on your channel, then it gets turned into real currency.
Okay.
So then the player...
That's all right.
So what happens is the watch currency turns into this, and then that turns into an emote, and that emote currency gets sent to the creator who... collects whatever at the end, and it's like, yeah, that's real. That's money, dollars off of an engagement,
off of just people watching.
But they and choosing to engage.
Sure.
Like, so that's a thing that's in place. Where is that money coming from? What's happening there? Is it like that? Doesn't sound like it can last.
It's coming from Microsoft.
But it's like, is it like, okay, is that if you told me you get the currency from watching an ad,
which is what bits are.
Then it's like, okay.
Well, it came from the ad.
Then it fully comes.
The ad subsidizes.
But if it comes from not watching an ad, but just watching the
I'll tell you exactly where that fucking comes from. That comes off of Microsoft's belief that ad revenue will support engagement revenue, and that they'll balance each other out. Will they? No, of course they won't.
I'm so confused by that.
Because ads on the internet are bullshit.
Yeah. Let's take a quick
what
word
makes
from
the
our
world
sponsors.
go round. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway.
You know I only say that on the episode where we didn't have any sponsors this week. By the way, you should all drink Red Bull. It's delicious.
You know, as I was waiting in line for the bathroom at PAX this weekend. Exactly. Exactly. That noise is exactly it. But I had a thought. And then I had two. No, what? I was thinking that, like, why, when I open up this door, am I not getting my own private instanced bathroom? You know? And I'm like, if we ever were to get that real world video game tech going,
Yeah.
one of the greatest uses of it of all time would be bathrooms are instances.
Okay.
I feel like, yeah, we could probably.
This seems like an absurd waste of a wild technology.
But I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you. But think, a bathroom that you can open anywhere.
Okay.
That no one will ever see or interact with ever. Only you can ever use it ever in your life.
You know what I like to do? When there's no one at home, I like to open up the bathroom door and go to the bathroom with the bathroom door open and be like, no one can see me.
Yeah. Yeah, that cool breeze is nice.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about a private instance in real life. And could we use this to create fucking cold fusion? Yeah.
Where's this going? Is this an ad read?
No.
We...
No, it was just...
I'm so confused.
It was just a thought. It was just a thought that,
Okay.
like, I want instance tech in real life. Specifically for toilets. What do you want, Siri?
Siri's trying to help you.
Siri's confused. Let's take some emails.
Hey, if you want to send an email in,
Oh, what if you get trapped in the instance? Well, then I guess you die.
I guess I'll die then.
If the servers go down while you're in the bathroom, I guess that's the end of your life.
I remember,
But it's a small price to pay.
I remember
for
when
infinite privacy.
When me, Eli, and Matt did the fucking TNG First Contact commentary track. There was like a full half hour about us talking about what happens to every human liquid that hits the floor in the holodeck when they turn that shit off.
I don't even...
Like all the semen from the sex holograms.
Oh, because that's not going to go away.
Because that's real. That's not photonic, right?
But it's being carried inside of the hologram.
Yeah, and then what happens?
Oh,
Just beam it onto the... I think we decided to beam it onto the deck of the Klingons. Just beam it all over.
If you die in the bathroom, you die in real life.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, if you wanna send in some emails to the podcast, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. I really should have eaten something before coming over here.
Yeah, I'm really dying.
My brain is slowing down bad.
I'm really dying. Oh boy.
Make sure to get a really good email.
I'm trying to, but everyone's yelling about this new Mortal Kombat 11 character.
What is it?
I don't know.
Is it a cum torpedo?
What?
I just saw in chat the word cum torpedo.
Why would you... What?
So, yeah, Star Trek. No, but who's the character?
Cetrion.
Okay, that's cool.
You're gonna get a low energy coverage of the story, no matter what it is.
Cetrion.
Cetrion.
How do I do it? Cetrion. Who is this?
Cetrion is... We're gonna take a look at what Cetrion is.
I'm gonna look at it. This is 7 minutes long. Why is it 7 minutes long?
Not if I click buttons.
I don't want to see this.
All right. We see Cabal.
Yeah.
We see a terrible video player trying to...
I've already lost interest.
Well, yeah, but...
MK11 will probably be pretty cool when it comes out.
Yes, and the character is probably all right.
Yeah.
All right? New announcements happening live on the show. What do you want me to what?
I'm in cold sweaty. I don't like this. You ever not eat and then you get onto a plane and you feel like this and then you feel like you're going to have a panic attack on a plane and be that guy? You ever do that?
I don't. I've never had that happen.
I did that once on a trip to Toronto with you guys. It's one of the... It was the suspicious trip. You remember the one? Where my seat was away from you guys every single flight for some reason, and I kept going suspicious.
I can't find the new character.
That's fine.
So
Scorpion killed a person.
I'm giving up. We'll talk about it next time.
That's fine.
Okay. Oh, shit. Yeah. That pack shit. Sorry, yeah, the Devil May Cry next time. I don't.
It's good.
You're not. If you get it now, you're not gonna like it. So wait.
Hey, spoiler for Devil May Cry 5. Wooly's opinion. Wooly thinks it's cool.
And I'd rather wait. Also, because at least by the time I get to it next time, like stuff will have happened in the LP.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense.
Don't worry about it. Just organize your thoughts. Good.
It makes more sense to do.
Should we just eat on the podcast in the future?
Just, as long as you
have
aim
lunch
it directly at the microphone.
You know,
you don't want this low energy bad DMC spoiler cast. All right. You don't want it.
I once ate
so stop
a sandwich
fucking...
on my stream, and there were people that were like, "Get the mic away from your gross mouth," but there were other people that was like, "No, chew into the mic."
Yeah, I know, because weird ASMR shit. But I'll tell you what, people more than once have been like, actually, when I hear those noises, I am actually unsubscribing and leaving. Yeah. And I cannot deal.
Well, what about the mukbangers?
They have a category where you can filter it.
I mean the mukbang aficionados.
You can filter for it.
Oh, you can? Okay.
No one shows up here for mouth noises.
Wait, I don't know. This is technically a mouth noise.
If you came here for the food grossies, then sure, you know what you're getting into.
I remember there was
But the ambush is the problem.
I remember I was on stream once and I was like, "Hey, if everything went tits up and I had to just eat gross things on camera for money, would you guys watch?" And everybody was like, "Yeah."
If you ask any question and end it with "would you watch?" the answer will be yeah.
Yeah, but that's not true. I asked people if they wanted to watch Pillars of Eternity and they said yeah. And they lied.
There's a lot of questions where the people were symbolically asked if they would like to watch something.
Oh my god!
And then they lied.
What was it? What was it? It's like, this seems like the kind of LP that I'd ask for and then watch a couple episodes and then stop watching and go play it myself.
Just to be real, I would totally stop.
I would totally stop. I have no intention of watching this. I'll ask for it though.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, I do.
All right, we got one coming in. This one comes in from Julian. He says, trailer just went up this morning for Persona, the live-action Netflix series. Not related to the game, but it made me think about how perfect the Persona universe would be for a live-action teenager drama show. You ever had your hopes crushed by a trailer you thought was going to be for something else?
No. That being said, go watch the fucking Japanese stage dramas. They're awful.
You do have that alternative.
They're awful.
God. There's at least one TV show.
Reboot.
That shares a name. No, there's a new that shares a name with a video game, and I didn't know what it was. What am I thinking? No, I got one. Yes, here we go. I remember on the TV Guide channel seeing. No, what was it? No, that's not true.
You haven't said a single noun.
I'm trying to remember something, and and I don't remember what the series was, but there was something that used to air.
You've given literally no details.
I know, but it was one of those things where, because like there's like Ghost Rider, the comic, and Ghost Writer.
Yeah.
Right? It was one of those things where it was like a really close name from a really cool thing that I liked, and then a thing that was terrible.
Still literally nothing.
I don't remember.
Has been told to anyone.
I don't remember. I thought I had an answer, and I didn't.
They're like...
I had no answer.
Total lack of nouns.
I thought Pokemon was related to monsters in my pocket.
Shut up.
Because the first time I ever saw that, I'm like, oh, you guys are just like rebranding your, like not rebranding, but you're doing like it's like, yeah, monsters in my pocket, pocket monsters. Pokemon is short for pocket monsters. I was like, right, monsters in my pocket.
All right, yeah, that's...
Same toy, same thing, right? What's the difference? And they're like, no, but like these Japanese things. And I was like, yeah, but I remember those toys. Yeah, so that happened.
Let's get a good email.
James says, Dear Thrashman and Trashman, I heard about an April Fool's joke where Game Pro would do fake game reviews once they made up a parody of Capcom versus SNK called Capcom versus SNL. If it actually existed, who would be the strongest SNL fighter?
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley. One true answer.
Yeah, he'd be like the Shao Kahn.
Well, Lorne Michaels is the Shao Kahn. That's not debatable. That is fact. However, Chris Farley would be the toppest tier.
Okay, so he'd be like Kentaro.
He'd be really high up there.
Okay. Yeah, definitely Chris Farley.
Chris Farley would be way the fuck up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Norm
Macdonald would be...
I was just thinking of Norm.
Norm would be...
would he be the Shang Tsung?
Norm Macdonald would be like... They'd be amongst the Shin Tenno. You know what I mean? The fucking the Four Heavenly Kings. You know, you'd get your Norm in there. You get your Colin Quinn in there.
Yeah.
I want to say that...
I want to see Bill Hader as Kung Lao.
Horatio Sanz and Jimmy Fallon as Ferrator.
All right.
You know.
Yeah.
Tina Fey's doing her thing.
Yeah. She'd be Sonya.
Yeah. But Chris Farley unstoppable.
Yeah.
And Sandler of course
can't be top.
Sandler's in there because anyone who got a fucking multi-billion-dollar career out of SNL is
Sandler would be Stryker.
Like Chris Rock is in there.
Chris Rock is Jax, really? That's weird.
Steve Martin's in there.
Steve Martin is who?
Dana Carvey's in there.
Okay.
Old comedians are in there.
I think the meanest joke I've ever seen directed at any comedian is people who ask Steve Martin. No, wait. Am I thinking of right Steve Martin? Old white guy with white hair.
Guy.
Okay, yeah. They asked Steve Martin, "Hey, Steve, why aren't you funny anymore?" And it's the one it's the one that always hits him, and it's like fucking ouch because he's not, but still
he plays the ukulele. And then also Lonely Island.
Yeah,
they'd be Triborg.
Yeah, they'd be Triborg. Absolutely.
Okay.
And Sandberg would be Sub-Zero, right? And
Yorma and Akiva.
Norma would be fucking Cyrax, and Akiva would be fucking Sector. No, Yorma would be Sector, and Akiva would be Cyrax. For sure. Because it's Akiva Goldsman, right? And
sure.
Cyrax is yellow.
Sure.
And also Yorma was the scary one in that one rap. And red is anger.
And who invited that guy? That guy's a cunt.
Yeah, there you go. See?
What up, Crushing? Salty Blazinski's Cask.
Yeah.
That was...
See, I got him again? Yeah, I got him again.
But this was so badly written, but you tried.
Cliff, stay losing.
Hey, had some info on regarding migraines because I'm catching up. I listened to CSB 08. Mom suffered from oral migraines like Pat's mom and couldn't get them properly treated. Cracked and tried something based on acupuncture, a Dayth piercing. Now, this I literally heard this weekend because a friend of mine has a piercing right on the Dayth piercing. It's like right over, around the ear area.
Yeah.
And some people like fucking swear by the fact that it makes the pressure go away.
There's a word for that. It's called claim.
Yes. This is
they claim.
What's the other word? It's pseudosciences and crystals and whatnot. But anyway, the photo attached shows a picture of what it looks like. Piercing a bunch of nerves. Quite a few people have these migraines. Said pinching this area helps relieve the pain. So some people said fuck it and punched a hole in that bitch. My mom in particular, has had little to no migraines since she's pierced it. So I guess it works at least sometimes.
Listen,
either that or it's one hell of a placebo.
Placebo is so much more powerful than you think it is. That's the thing where people say it's not just a placebo, it's got this really powerful effect. Like placebos can do crazy shit.
Yeah, if you say it's not just a placebo, it's like no, but placebo works.
You have no idea how strong placebos can be.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the you want to talk fucking pseudoscience magical bullshit?
Yeah.
Placebo fucks science up bad.
Which is why control groups have to exist.
Because it makes belief equal power.
Yes. Spiral energy is a real thing.
Yeah.
That's why praying over people sometimes nets different results.
Yeah, it's praying people kills them. Praying for people kills them.
No, that's not what I heard.
Oh yeah. They ran I think it was Stanford, where they ran fucking all sorts of control groups of people going in for heart surgery, and they had a local parish pray for them, and they had three groups: people that didn't get prayed for, people that did get prayed for but were not told that they were being prayed for, and the people that got prayed for and were told. And the people who were told that they were prayed for suffered more complications and more early deaths as the result of their heart transplants, because The idea that came out from it afterwards was that being told that you had a whole parish praying for you made people freak out and think they were going to die, which caused them to die.
That does what? No, what do you mean? Like, why would they have that thought as opposed to I have a bunch of people that are trying to give me well wishes?
Because people are cynical, Wooly.
Are these? Wait, hold on. Are these people that were told that were believers in?
No. But they're saying, hey, we're trying out a new science thing. We're going to have a whole people pray for your operation.
Okay.
Which makes the operation seem really bad and scary.
Okay, and the people they did it on were blind as well.
Yeah.
And them having faith was not a part of the
No,
equation.
absolutely not.
I'd be curious to see that aspect of it.
Yes.
Because if we're trying to talk about the placebo effect.
Yeah, people that believe in the belief, would probably help them
that's
out.
But that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Then that's what I'm talking about. It's
but what if it didn't?
I was, and it might be fucking anecdotal, but I was given like an explanation about that where people that believed in what they were having happen to them with the prayer thing, they had netted different results based on your placebo of believing it.
Hey, here's what you do. Here's what you do.
Not.
All right, here's how you test it. Right, you know that guy, not really all that religious, but you think he's a prick. Goes to the hospital, tell him you're praying for him. That'll show him.
You know, I mean, based on like the old fucking, like with my old family and a lot of the church people and whatnot, like that's one of the biggest.
Isn't that like a passive aggressive,
saltiest
like
burns?
Isn't that like a passive aggressive like backhand?
It is
like I'll pray for you.
Oh yeah, it is the poison knife as you while you shake the hand. Absolutely. That is straight up just, you know, and you say it in the way that's like the more endearing you say it, the
worse it is.
The more real it is because you're just like, you need it that much more.
You need it so bad because you're such a, godless piece of shit.
I'm so high above you.
Oh, man.
I'm up here. And you know what?
Yeah.
While I'm up here, I'll do my best.
I'll try and reach down my hand for you.
I'll bring you up. I'll bring you up.
You lowly garbage.
Get on my level.
Fuck off.
Yeah, so piercings. And then he also talked about Get to the Orange Door and whatnot. Oh yeah, for the people that are asking if I've got to play hardcore mecha, I didn't because I missed the booth. I didn't see the booth all weekend. I was looking around and I completely didn't find it, so that happened. They're not going to hear this. Question, time you figured it out, but you were wrong. Dear Super Beastie Boys, the time you figured out a mechanic and a piece of lore or a secret, only for the game to tell you were wrong. When I played MGS5, the fighting. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm sorry. Let's try this again.
Just read it bad.
Example, when playing MGS5 and fighting the Burning Man, I thought all I had figured out and airdropped the water pistol to aid in beating him. He absorbs and reflects all attacks. Since he absorbs and reflects all attacks, when I shot him a couple times, Miller said over the radio that it's not going to work and my heart was broken.
That sucks. That game's bad. That should have won. I think we also tried that in the LP. I can't remember, though. Hey, I was going
to say there's definitely time when you're like, well, the game logic says that this should probably work here. Or plot logic says it should probably work here, but the game's like, no, it doesn't.
Hey, Wooly.
Yes.
People want to see more Wooly. Where'd they go?
All right. Wooly versus. Hit it up on YouTube and Twitch. Wow, we're so done.
Hey, if you want to see more of me freak out that I think people have put their dicks on things in my vicinity, or have, oh man, Wooly, I had like the most OCD meltdown playing Shovel Knight yesterday.
Why is that?
Because I kept dying to bosses because I refused to use sub-weapons.
Okay.
Because I might need them later.
Consumables.
Sub-weapons.
Consumables.
Yeah. But the ones you get the magic for in every screen.
Just fucking use.
No, you don't understand.
How did you get through Castlevania?
Brain goblins!
How did you get through Castlevania?
Oh, Castlevania's fine because you hit any item, you get a heart. Anyway, you can check me out at Angriest Pat on Twitch and on Twitter, and Pat Stares At on YouTube. But it should be easy to find. I'm streaming 8 o'clock p.m. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's going to be all roguelikes this week. Yay, roguelikes. In celebration of Gungeon.
All right, now I'm finally back from PAX.
Yeah.
Because we're done. No, I got to do the Samurai Shodown video.
Yeah, you do. And we got to do the video where we talk about the podcast.
Just start it right now while
okay,
we're
you know
still
what?
rolling.
Let's just start right now.
Start it right
Start
now.
Hold on. Okay. Is this on photo? Yeah, it's on photo. How do I put it on video? Video? Video?
They won't know that it's
Video.
happening live.
Okay, hold on.
They won't
3,
know.
2,
It'll take
1.
hours before anyone even realizes that
Okay,
this is live
it's
on the
on
podcast.
now. I turned it on. What's up with the podcast?
It's out. You should
This
check
is
it out.
This is the podcast.
You should check it out. It's out.
Okay,
Now's
bye.
the time to check it out. Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. The video's
Okay, great.
done.
They will never know
They'll never know.
that the podcast preview was recorded in the actual podcast.
Really? Because we're sitting in the spots at the thing.
But by the time they find out, it'll be too late.
Really? Will it?